right, here we are back for another episode of Chasing Labels, spine number 35?
34.
34. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. 100%.
We're always not really. I'm always not really sure about this because, I even though I post all the stuff and everything, but you're telling me it, and you are correct, sir. I just want to make.
I am indeed.
Yeah. I should trust you, but I didn't. So I just.
This is what happens when we take a week off.
Yeah.
Things get all discombobulated. But we are here with episode number 34, and we just want to thank everyone for listening to our previous episode with Brad Henderson from Vinegar Syndrome. Great guest we had on, much long, supersized episode. And today we have, once again, another guest. And Stephen, you want to introduce our guest?
Sure. He is I think the first time we made contact in some way was probably through the Criterion groups. And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And then I started listening to his podcast, Good Times, Great Movies, which is like very focused on like 80s films and things like that. Mr. Doug McCambridge. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. Fellas, thanks for having me. I am really excited to be here because, and I'll tell you this right now, I listened to the banter beforehand and I wanted to jump in because I do not go on podcasts that I don't also listen to. So while you were trying to figure out what you talked about, I kind of wanted to jump in and go, no, I heard you talk about that. Haven't heard that, but you might even be talking about episodes that haven't been released yet. So I didn't want to overstep my bounds.
No, we appreciate you listening, man. And
sure.
that's very humbling. I feel humbled by that because when you hear other people that do podcasts, listen to yours, that makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's something right. Who doesn't want to hear a 5-hour episode with Brad Henderson? I was on board with that.
Yeah, right.
We never plan for the run times of any episode, so whatever comes out ends up coming out, and sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2, sometimes whatever.
I don't make edits too, unless somebody asks me to make edits, or I have to because it just sounds like crap.
Right.
I don't make edits. It's just the full throttle, like 300 milligram energy drink. Going forward. I mean, it's at you.
Listen, I will keep it short and sweet, guys. A 30-minute episode, whatever.
Hey, if you want to be our shortest episode, that's up to you. But we won't. I don't know if Kino's going to let you do that because I think we got enough Kino to talk about here for 30 minutes alone.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
But Doug, first before we get into any releases, like we do with all our guests, we want to talk about you. So please tell us about your beginnings of your love of film and any as personal as you want to get.
Yeah.
I mean, just nothing gross. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll try and avoid anything gross. It's funny. Anytime I hear an interview with somebody who is interested in film, I don't want to say they all kind of sound the same, but it's usually a family member. My story is not much different. Yeah. Like my dad was growing up into football. I watched football with him constantly. We used to study stats and all that nerdy shit that nobody cares about. And my mom was into movies or pop culture, TV, stuff like that. So I think I kind of growing up straddled the line between the two of those things. Early on, like I used to love Nick at Night. And I used to watch like old like Green Acres and Alfred Hitchcock Presents and stuff like that. And my mom saw this and noticed it. So it was never an issue to show me a black and white movie or something like that. Like I have friends now that are turned off by a black and white movie. And I don't understand it. And they're like, I don't know why they act that way in the 1940s. It's so tough to... I don't know. In my real life, I don't have people that have the same interests as me.
I don't have many myself, so I'm with you, buddy. Especially my wife does not.
Oh no! My wife and I, we do not. No, we can watch some TV shows that are the same, but movies, there's absolutely no crossover whatsoever. Yeah. But. And so in doing that, in her sort of turning me on to some of these older films and stuff like that, I can remember when Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear came out. And at the time, I was a little bit too young to see it. And she's like, well, you know that's just a remake, right? I was like, no, I have no idea. What are you talking about? I'm like 10. And so, she rented the original and, we watched it together, and I had a local video store that I could ride my bike to. So then one summer I would just watch every single James Bond movie. I watched the horribly, now when I look back on it, like racist Charlie Chan movies and stuff like that. Like I watch things that normal kids shouldn't watch. The difference though, between myself and so many people in the circles that you and I both run in online, I didn't go to film school. I didn't take a film class in school. I kind of just did this on my own on the side and kind of tried to seek out films that people didn't talk about or weren't popular. Yeah. Like I remember wanting to go see The Ice Storm when all my friends were like, what are you talking about? Like, we're not going to go see that movie. First of all, they didn't even know what it was. So I don't know how long it was before I saw The Ice Storm.
Lee. Who's Ang Lee?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, like, I don't know what that is. He hasn't made the Hulk yet, so who knows?
Yeah.
And I do have to say, here's one thing. When I watched, and I was okay in my little bubble of films that I thought were different or artsy or old or obscure. When I went to the theater by myself and saw Lost Highway, my life changed like 100%. That was my sophomore, junior year of college, something like that. And from then, like, I would not know who Godard is if it wasn't for Lynch. I would not have watched a single Fellini if it wasn't for Lost Highway. So that opened the door, strangely enough, to foreign cinema. Like, I love to watch movies now where immediately I have to read about it because I have no idea what it was I just saw. So that was a big turning point with me. And when it comes to the physical media end of things, because I was never... Growing up, I didn't collect anything. I didn't collect baseball cards. I didn't collect comic books, stuff like that. I was not a collector. And even with movies, I had a bunch of DVDs, but it was never anything that I was obsessive about. And I will blame like all of the people at Criterion Cast for getting me into this, because listening, finding, stumbling upon that podcast, I started to listen and I realized I want these movies. Like, I want to own these. I want to listen to, for the first time ever, commentaries and little documentaries and, flip through you guys remember the old, Blu-rays and DVDs where you could just flip through like the 87 movie posters and stills for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that started it all for me. And recently I've tried to calm down a little bit. Like, my house is becoming overrun and it's honestly an embarrassment at times. But no, I'm a collector because of finding those groups of people online that have the same interests that I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I think maybe Andrew might have, you did some film studies, in college, right?
Yeah, mostly, my backstory, not to go over the whole thing, but I took a few classes here and there I was,
but for the most part,
and they were like, to fulfill, requirements of electives.
Yeah.
Like, you need to fulfill, certain amount of credits or whatever. And hey, there's a film class, I guess I'll take that, And I took a couple of them. I took it was kind of like history of film, the beginning to like a certain era. And it was kind of like a survey class. And then I took like an Alfred Hitchcock class. And then I took like a Monsters in Film class and stuff like that. And it was, it was really enlightening at the time. Even before I had taken those classes, I was already a super film fan. So if anything, I kind of had a leg up on everyone. So I took them because I thought they would be easier because I was such a film fan. By the time by the time I had taken the Hitchcock class, I had already gone through all of Hitchcock's filmography. I already watched all the special features. I had already read up on Hitchcock. So it was kind of like a breeze. What those classes teach you is how to analyze film, how to write about it, how to look past just what's on the screen itself. Like, why is a shot framed a certain way?
Yeah.
Why is the character in that part of the screen. What does that symbolize? What's mise en scène? What's all this technical jargon that you kind of really don't need to appreciate film? It just, I guess, gives you a better understanding of the art, the craft of it,
Yeah.
which is something I've always been interested in.
And that makes total sense. The turnoff for me with those classes, because they were available at my school,
Yeah.
of course, and I looked into them. The turnoff to me was the writing. Honestly,
Yes.
I am
Yes.
not a writer,
Oh,
and
I hated it.
listen. If it was a class where you just watch movies and talk about them, great. I am on board. But the writing, that wasn't a thing that I was ever interested in. I'm still not. I still can't.
Yeah, I was gonna.
write my
I
way out
brought
of a
this up.
paper bag,
I brought
but-
this up, Andrew, because I thought I was gonna say, "Hey, we're just like you, Doug. We didn't care about going to school for film stuff, and we just did it on our own." But then again, it sounds like you did way more than I did. So,
Well, not only that, I mean, you don't have to. I learned way more by just watching movies and watching people talk about movies than I think you could, really learn in a quote unquote film school.
Yeah.
Film school for me has always been something where you learn craft, you learn techniques, you learn processes, you get certain connections with other artists so you can collaborate on things. If you want to be a filmmaker, there's all kind of avenues within movies where if you want to be a critic, there's the writing aspect of it.
Sure.
I was never a big writer myself, and ironically, I was a history major, and all you really do is learn about history and then write about it. That's kind of what you do.
Exactly.
Although, we're going to talk about Ang Lee a little bit coming up, a little sneak preview. I took one of my last courses I took for my requirement was, it was a history of China course. So it was, just Chinese history from the beginning through modern times, well, really in the 1970s, and our final paper was a paper on it could be anything related to China. So at the time, of course, I was like, I got to make it about movies. So I just decided to write about Ang Lee's first 3 films, and it turns out one of them is finally getting a Blu-ray release today.
Yes.
So you didn't decide to write about Charlie Chan, which is probably a good decision on your
I
part.
was originally going to write about The Last Emperor, the Bertolucci film. Which we ended up watching in that class anyway, but I already seen it like twice. But then I was just like, I'll go with Ang Lee. Why not?
Yeah.
well, I
great.
took one film class, and I like writing, so that's what I did. We did a lot of watching movies and writing about them. I liked it. Okay, so
You're one of the few. I didn't mind it, to be honest. I would rather write about a movie. Like I wrote a paper in that Monsters in Film class about Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, and how monstrous he is, but he's also like a reflection of ego and the 1980s and like the bloatedness of that society and ego of that society and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun. I would much rather write about that than write about, let's say, another paper I wrote was about the Treaty of Versailles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was
Sure,
just
right. Yeah.
You didn't need annotated stuff from like books you had to take out of the library to talk about American Psycho.
But speaking of American Psycho,
Yes.
let's transition to talking about your podcast, because
Yes,
you just did
good
an
transition.
episode
Oh, sure.
about Vampire's Kiss, which you when you were doing the episode, you talked about how that movie's kind of like American Psycho in a way. It's got a lot of relatability.
It's 100% American Psycho. I was amazed when I saw that movie. And I think I even said on the podcast, I was like, well, I guess the director probably read American Psycho, because I assumed American Psycho was written in the 80s because of when it takes place. And then I realized, wait, American Psycho was written 2 years after Vampire's Kiss. I have a feeling Bret Easton Ellis must have seen that movie, because
I believe
it's wild. The last half of that movie just feels like you're watching American Psycho.
Now, so please tell us about the beginnings of the podcast, how you got that started and everything.
Sure. Yeah, my co-host, her name is Jamie. She and I went to college together. We were good friends throughout college. She moved to West Coast. I stayed on East Coast. And strangely enough, like, it was kind of just an excuse for the two of us to continue talking. You know, phone calls had gone away. We both had families, other obligations, stuff like that. And I pitched her one day. I was like, hey, why don't we do a podcast? She still doesn't know what a podcast is. I guarantee you she doesn't know. We've been doing this for 7 years. She doesn't listen to other podcasts. She doesn't listen to ours. She knows nothing. But it was really an excuse for us to talk. And, you know, we were kicking around ideas. And she was the one that said 80s movies, and we went with it. And what it is it is a lighter, let's say, take on movies. We kind of just kick movies around for an hour to an hour and a half, whether they deserve it or not. I mean, we talk about amazing films. I mentioned, you know, David Lynch. We did Blue Velvet, and I love it, but that doesn't mean you can't make fun of that movie. Like we did RoboCop. That movie's goofy as anything. It was so much fun to talk about that. And then, you know, we'll do Mac and Me. We'll do Sleepaway Camp. We'll do all the garbage too. So yeah, that's it. So it's every other week. And like I said, we've been doing it now for almost 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So super fun. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I'll continue to do it. I don't care if people stop listening.
You have
I get I get the numbers. I know there aren't a ton of people listening anyway, so I don't care.
As long as you're having fun, obviously you are, because you wouldn't be doing it for so long if you weren't.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And we talked about the whole, you know, idea of movie collecting, and I know I tossed it off kind of as a hobby, but that's how podcasting feels to me too. Like it's a hobby, and the moment I don't enjoy it anymore, I'm done. Kind of like with collecting. If for whatever reason I ever get a package from Vinegar Syndrome and don't open it up with absolute joy, maybe that's the time to stop.
When you stop getting that adrenaline rush from collecting,
exactly.
It may lose its luster. I mean,
yes,
it hasn't quite happened for me yet. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I know there's a lot of people I've seen on social media where they're like, hey, I just don't, I'm not really into the collecting anymore. It's becoming not, I'm not getting the same thrill out of it, so I'm going to sell my collection. Yeah. I've seen many people do that. I've seen many people stop collecting.
And I have done some of that. I've been selling things. I was a big, let's say, spine number head, if that's a term. Yeah. So I would collect things that had spine numbers, and suddenly I'm looking at Indicator going, oh no, they're putting out so much stuff. And so it's Criterion. Like I have to put a stop to one of these. And then if I just have some of these numbers, it feels weird. So maybe I have to sell the ones I have. It's a weird, I don't even want to call it OCD because it's not, but it's just a weird thing that I run into, and I don't want to become overrun. And the other thing regarding collecting is, I have watched, I'm going to say, and I'm not overstating, 95% of what I own. I do not sit there with unopened things. If I get something, I open it up and I put it next to the TV, and then I watch it when I get a chance. And my collecting has slowed because I realized, like, there was a year where I went and I said, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going to watch everything that I haven't watched. And I just don't want to get to that point again.
Dude, I need your restraint. I need your restraint, right? I'm about to have a baby, my first child. And I have to slow down my buying. So I need to get in that mentality of, Steven, slow down your buying and just start watching the stuff that you have.
There was something really cathartic about, I mean, honestly, it was, I really thought it was going to be difficult, but just making giant stacks of things that I have not yet watched and were like sealed, like that was more exciting, strangely enough, than ordering things, is knowing when I get home from work, I get to pull something out of that pile and watch it.
Yeah, I got to get there, man. I got to get there. I'm excited about watching all this stuff. It's just trying to get that time, man. There's just not enough time.
Definitely.
I need that damn Hermione Granger damn time turner thing so I can like go back and watch something and then go back, watch something else.
Yep. You'll be like, oh, I just finished the Bergman set. People will be like, didn't you start that last night?
I did. But
when it comes to collecting, I mean, everybody has their different ways in which they collect. We know we've talked about them so many times. Steven and I are different. Everybody's different. But I think, like you were saying earlier, there is a sense of community on the internet that's kind of a positive community. I mean, there's not, the internet's a wild, wild west of a place filled with just complete and utter insanity, and then complete and utter like community as well. It's wild. So a lot of because what's interesting is that all of us are all geographically in different places, yet we're able to come together and talk about collectively the same thing, which is our passion and love for movies, collecting, watching, talking about whatever. So it's really a great thing, and I think that's kind of where we put a lot of love into the podcasting, just talking about movies. Like you were saying, doing it for 7 years. Steven and I have been doing it now. This will be year number 4.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it in terms of time. And it's just kind of interesting how time flows when you're doing something that you really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, this community really is great. I know there's bad pockets of it and stuff like that.
Like
and I'll run into that on occasion, but then I don't spend time there. I have all these people. Like,
you can
I'm
always leave.
I'm on Twitter, and I constantly hear things from people like, you know what sucks? Film Twitter. I'm like, where are you spending your time? I guess I'm not interacting with those people. When Scream came out, everybody was so angry that people were spoiling it. And I'm like, I haven't seen one. I guess I'm just not paying attention or like dealing with anybody who's, I guess, an asshole. I'm not sure.
I don't get it. I mean, then again, I'm not like it, though I run most of our social media. I need to be on there more, but I don't find myself drawn to it. I would much rather just hope that people find our podcast and not have to work too hard to try to get people to find my podcast. Because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to be on social media where people want to, be so negative all the time.
Yeah, but I also I don't, and again, it's negative. It could
but there
be
is
negative.
a lot of positive
I get it,
too,
and,
definitely.
And maybe it's just the way I'm like, curating. I guess there's so much positive, and like I said, I can't talk about a Severin folk horror box set with anyone in my real life.
Of course not.
So I have to do this online.
I try to like tell people just about what I do here on the podcast, and I'm like, they don't know what I'm talking about. Like, if I bring up the term boutique label, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like, I'm trying to tell people,
I think they usually go to clothing. They think it's you talk about clothing.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I almost have to frame it in like, okay, so it's companies that put out movies on Blu-ray that aren't like Disney or Warner Brothers or whomever. That's how I kind of have to frame it, because they're not going to know what Vinegar Syndrome is. They're not going to know what Severin is. They're not going to know Kino. They're not going to know whomever. They may, like, I think Criterion, just in and of itself, we'll talk about their releases later. They're probably like the most well-known boutique label just because their name is just batted around so much over the last 40 years they've been around. So luckily, maybe you'll run to somebody who's heard about it, but for the most part, not really in reality.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, not at all. No, I'm wearing my pink Severin shirt right now, and I wear this in public, and people will say to me like, "Oh, what's Severin?" And I try and, like an idiot, I try and explain it. Like, I should just say a band.
I was going to say,
I should just be like,
if I was
"Oh,
somebody
it's a
that didn't
band."
know, I'd be like, "Is that that's a cool band shirt?"
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and then I try and explain, and they're like, "So they make movies?" I'm like, "No, they don't make." I'm done. Like,
it's like, how do I get down this rabbit hole, man? It's like, once I start there, I gotta be like, they don't make movies. They put out movies that other people have made, but they're older movies, and some are horror, some are folk horror, some are weird, some are sexual, some aren't. It's like, how far do you want to go down this rabbit hole with me?
Right, exactly. And the question after that would be like, well, where can I stream these? I assume that would be the next question.
It's like, are they on Netflix? And I'm like,
you'd be like, I don't know, dig around through Prime sometimes, if you know what you're searching for on Tubi, possibly.
I mean, have you seen Overboard? They put out Overboard with
there you go,
with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yeah, but the collecting is what we're here for, and I think, you know what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. This is going to be a hefty episode. We got to do some catching up, and hopefully Doug can tell us everything about everything.
Oh yeah, I watched everything that Kino announced, which is 800
movies from Kino, and then we got like 4 from Criterion, 5, 6 from Criterion. That's it. There's a couple of little things, and so
I got to tell you, Kino takes some heat in the online communities. I love Kino.
I'm impressed.
No,
I'm impressed, if anything.
As a listener of our show, you know we give them crap all the time, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, they're like the physical media raccoon that just hangs out around the garbage cans of these other studios, and I cannot believe they turn around and are like, I don't know, can we do Silence of the Lambs? Well, Criterion did it. Yeah, but did they do it in 4K?
No,
like
they didn't.
everything.
There you go.
Their business model, I don't know what they have going on there, how they just bought the rights to everything, but I am thrilled when I see they announce stuff. I gotta tell you, I love their black spines. I know it's boring, but man, you put all those in a row, it looks
nice on
pretty
the shelf.
great.
It does. I mean, they went from white spines to black spines. I mean, it's a no frills type packaging. It's just there's no inner disc art. There's no inner.
Yeah.
You know, the discs don't have art on them.
Right.
There's no insert impact. There's no booklets or anything like that. But it's efficient and it works, and I guess it works within their budget.
Yeah,
and whatever their budget is.
everybody.
It's got to be big.
Their
they keep
sales
churning
are
it out.
insane.
Yeah.
Like
They
put stuff on sale, and like, no, wait, I can't get Criterion's Silence of the Lambs for $8.99 during a sale.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean it's a conversation I like to have sometimes with people is the strategies, because all these companies have their own strategies when it comes to how they put out their stuff. And Kino, I think, primarily seems to put their money where the acquisitions are and where like restoring is. They're not too heavy on they don't do like crazy box sets. They don't, as you just said, do like a bunch of booklets so the packaging's very kind of like bare bonesy,
minimal, yeah.
But for the most part, their
Efficient.
restoration's good, and they're getting stuff that nobody else is getting. Like silent films, a lot of like early stuff that you're not seeing anybody else put out. And
the other thing is they're putting this stuff out. I was talking to someone online who compared them to Studio Canal. And I was like, no, Studio Canal just owned everything. They didn't release anything. Criterion couldn't put anything out because Studio Canal just owned it. At least Kino's putting everything out that they can.
Yeah, they're just a machine. But a machine we love.
So I guess,
Yeah.
Jumping right into Kino, we'll talk a little bit right now about a kind of much anticipated upcoming release is something we've talked about here a couple of times. Something near and dear to my heart is Touch of Evil is, I think, pushed back now about a month or so.
Yeah, sometimes
It's coming out March 15th now. So they had to push it a little bit. I'm not sure if there were technical reasons why they had to do it or whatever reasons. But as we've been seeing a lot lately, I would rather have, someone push something a month than have to rush something out to get to a specific deadline or to keep up with the mad rush of releases from their competitors or whatever the case may be. Because this is a big release. We talked about it. It's a 3-disc set. It's I believe all 4K discs. It's an expensive set when it comes expensive release for them, and a key release I know that a lot of people are hyped up about because it's from the great Orson Welles. So we just want to make a note that that's being pushed back. So your pre-orders may change, and if you haven't pre-ordered like myself, you still have time.
I pre-ordered.
I probably should pre-order because
I did it.
the price has come down a bit.
I
on
shouldn't
it.
have, but I did.
I know.
Well, no, that's so exciting that this is coming out. Like, I don't know, honestly, who put the Blu-ray, whoever it was, I didn't get it.
Yeah, it was
at the time,
Universal.
so I don't have a Blu-ray of it.
Universal put it out like 10 years ago.
I gotta snap this up immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's as I know, I love Orson Welles, not as much as Andrew, but I've seen this. I saw this movie a while back ago. It's been a minute. I think we do an episode on an Orson Welles film. We didn't do Touch of back when we did Cinema Discovery Project. We did an Orson Welles film. I know we did.
Did we?
I feel like we did. Maybe we didn't.
I really have to look back now in the
I
archives.
don't know. Don't worry about it.
can't
Don't do it
remember.
now. Please don't do it now.
We talked about David Lynch earlier, and we did do Eraserhead at one point.
Yeah, I know that. I feel like it got brought up at some point because I know I watched Touch of Evil for a podcast once, and I don't know if it was one of ours or somebody else's, but
I think we did The Third Man, and he was in
maybe that
The
was
Third
it.
Man.
Maybe that was it. Yeah.
Everybody always gets The Third Man confused with Eraserhead.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
constantly.
clearly.
So
Yeah, it's almost the
I mean,
same
who
movie.
hasn't?
But I'm excited for this release. Like I said, I already pre-ordered it, and I just you got to get in quick because them slip covers are limited. If you're that
Yeah, people go bananas for those slip covers.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm a big slipcover enthusiast myself, but I'm not one of those people who will pay exorbitant amount of money for something with a slipcover on eBay.
No, you're not hoarding those Vincent slipcovers and then turning around and reselling them.
I'll say this.
Oh, they're great.
I gotta, we talked a little bit about Fun City Editions. I have to get those with the slipcover, or else it's just not the same.
Hurry up, buddy! You better hurry up and get.
I know. They're already. Most of them are already sold out.
Yeah, you better get in there before it gets crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
I had to get a couple on the eBays myself. I got lucky though.
You pretty much have to get all of them now on eBay. Good luck.
I cannot find somebody out there, somebody listening right now. Contact me if you're willing to part with your Maximum Overdrive Vestron slipcover. Wow. It's the only one I don't have, and it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh, I bet it does.
That's gross. I hate when there's just that one that doesn't have a slipcover, and you're like,
the one that got away.
I know, and I'm so mad. I hate that movie so much. Like I only have it because I have all the rest of them, and I would be so angry if I have to shell out like $30 just for a slipcover.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of that movie. I don't know if that's sacrilege. We did a whole episode on Stephen King adaptations back on Cinema Discovery Project, and I watched Maximum Overdrive for it, and I was just like, this movie's not great. This movie is not great.
What were you thinking?
But it's so iconic, though. It's so iconic and well remembered. And it's one of the only movies I think Stephen King ever directed. Memories.
I think it's the only one.
Yeah.
They give him a chance and then realized
it's
that
like
was a mistake.
it's like when what's his name? Cormac McCarthy directed his own book. What was the movie? The Counselor.
Oh no, that was Ridley Scott.
Was that Ridley? I thought
that was really.
No, I'm sorry. He wrote it. He wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, he wrote the script for the.
Okay, not exactly the same, but close. Yeah.
So moving, still staying in the Kino Lorber Studio Classics realm, we have a bit of catching up to do, and we talked a little pre-show about where we left off last time.
Yeah.
There was a little debate, but I'm going to take the opportunity now to stick some Rock Hudson in there just because that's what I got
the list here, but okay, all right, go ahead.
All right. I mean, I might as well. I think they're on the list anyways, but
they are just out of order. It's fine. You start where you want to start. You crazy person.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Going off book, going off road. And starting off here is Man's Favorite Sport with Rock Hudson and Paula Prentice. And then we have Strange Bedfellows with Rock Hudson and Gina Lola Brigida. I know that's a popular one amongst Rock Hudson fans.
Yeah. I know the one, the Man's Favorite Sport, that's a Howard Hawks film.
Yes, it is a Howard Hawks film.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a similar type of film to Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the film where apparently Rock Hudson was just doing a Cary Grant impression. And that's what he decides to do for the movie. And I'm watching it, I'm like, not really, but okay.
Oh. See, you got me all excited. I was like, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still great. Though.
You know what?
It's still great.
I wonder why they did not, because they already have. Don't they have a Rock? They have a Rock Hudson set out.
They do.
I was gonna ask you if this is a second set or these are just.
They're just individual
films,
right? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Because they didn't label it number one. They did that with Deanna Durbin. They put out a number one. Haven't heard anything about a number two.
Yeah, they put out Carol Lombard Volume 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Already. I think that's the only. Is that the only one that they've released 2 sets of so far?
That's the only one that they've released 2.
Yeah, I think.
And like I said, the Durbin thing at least
does Audie
had
Murphy have a 1 on it?
I don't.
I don't know. I don't have that one.
I don't think it is. I know, like you said, Deanna Durbin does, so I guess there's going to be a second Deanna Durbin. They put out a Barbara Stanwyck set.
Yeah.
They really like to put out those actor or actress centric sets, and I keep plugging them on the show because they're affordable, and you get 3 movies for like. You can probably find for like $25.
I don't think they knew what they were going to do with the film noir until after they did the first one, because they did like 5 movies in that first one, 5 or 6,
and it took like 5 years after that before they put out their second one. So I don't know if they just didn't sell well, or if it was too expensive to produce, or whatever the case may be. But they're now up to Volume 6 still has to come
6.
out, I think, by this point.
The 7 got announced too.
Oh, gee, yeah.
Oh, 7 got announced.
7 got announced. It's just not for pre-order yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
So we've got
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Keep
we've
'em
got
coming.
those two Rock Hudson films. I'm always a big fan of Rock Hudson. They just put out
Yeah.
another one of his films, and I bought it, and now I can't remember what it is. But
That's how it goes.
I know that's how it goes. So, but I won't like stay on that for too long. So I want to move on to the next one. Steven, do you have?
Yes.
I know we talked
got
about
you.
Fast Charlie.
Okay, yeah, we
beforehand,
talked about that. So now we're up to the Robert Shozak films.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah, because Now and Forever we talked about, and there's a two film. It's not a two film set. It's two individual releases of Robert Siodmak films. One is at like the beginning of his career in like 1930, and the other one is later on in his career, not quite towards the end, but latter half.
Yeah.
The latter half film is The Devil Strikes at Night, which is a great title of a film
that-
from 1957.
yeah.
And the second film is Farewell, and this film is from 1930. I think it's a German film.
It is, yeah.
I think it's a film he made when he was, starting out in Germany at the time before he came over to the United States. And these are actually being put out through their Kino Classics line, which is a little different than their Kino Lorber Studio Classics line in the sense that the packaging is different.
Yeah.
The Kino Lorber Studio Classics is that black packaging that we talked about before. This is the kind of their old school original packaging, which was white and just said Kino Classics on it. That's where they put out films like Fear and Desire from Kubrick, or Nosferatu, stuff like that. And those two films are, I'm assuming, making their premieres on Blu-ray. Both have audio commentaries, I think. And
Yes.
I'm actually really excited because I think I saw The Devil Strikes at Night, and I thought it was really, really good.
Sounds awesome. I mean, it says a serial killer strikes again during World War II in Germany. The wrong man is arrested.
It's based on a true story, actually.
Yeah. Wrong man is arrested, and a detective hunts down the real killer. But justice in Nazi Germany is not so easily administered.
For anybody interested, it's kind of a film noir, in the sense that it's a murder mystery, literally, and also it's actually based on a true story. There's a lot of like interesting like facts about, did this person actually commit these murders? Did they not? Did they just execute this person because it took place during, Nazi occupied German times? And there's a whole thing about it. It was a little rabbit hole to go down to, so it's a very interesting story. And it happened.
That sounds pretty cool to have like a mystery thriller with like a World War II backdrop. Like you don't see stuff like that a whole lot.
Within the Nazi hierarchy place.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of that political stuff in there, and it's very interesting. I thought it was really,
cool.
really well done too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So moving on from there is a film starring Margaret Sullivan and Jimmy Stewart and Ray Milland. And that is Next Time We Love. And this is another film starring Margaret Sullivan and Jimmy Stewart, and I believe they starred in Shop Around the Corner together.
Yes.
Around the same time, and it's another team up with them. Not as good as that film, but it's not.
Few are.
It's few are. It's an interesting story. I'll say that it's kind of a film that takes place over a long period of time, and it's about a kind of people fall like in and out of love and long distance relationships, and interesting.
It says Preston Sturges was a contributor to the screenplay.
Yes, he was. It has a very Preston Sturges vibe to it.
Cool.
I believe that. Yeah, and then next is a period piece of If I Were King, starring Ronald Colman.
Also got
Basil
Preston
Rathbone.
Sturges did the screenplay on this one too.
Yes, he did. Nominated for 4 Oscars, including Best Supporting Actor for Basil Rathbone. Interesting. I did see this as well, and it's a really cool, period piece. I really like Basil Rathbone. He was like a character actor in the 30s and 40s. He was in like Adventures of Robin Hood and all kind of stuff like that. Next up.
So are you thinking that Sturgis's family had an estate sale and Kino showed up and they're like, we'll take this and we'll take this and
There's
this.
always a chance.
So
there's always a chance. I mean, yeah.
Kino's everywhere. Kino's got agents everywhere. They're like waiting around estates like, do you want to sell movies? Waiting outside their houses.
Got the rights. Yeah, it's not like that person who bought. I don't want to get down this story. I was gonna say this person who bought like the NFT of the Dune book from Jarowski's Dune, and he thought he bought the movie rights.
Great.
And it's like, no, you just bought the NFT. You can't make this. You can't make
Let's not go down the rabbit hole of the NFTs.
I know that's a whole different can of worms. That I don't even think people understand.
I don't even understand it. I
No,
probably don't
nobody-
even-
I just thought
Nobody
that was a
understands
funny
it.
movie connected like rights thing. It's like no, that's not the way movie rights work. Next up, Steven, do you want to talk about
Backstreet.
Backstreet? Okay, Backstreet with Charles Boyer and Margaret Sullivan. Once again, another Margaret Sullivan film. This is getting a brand new 2K master as well as a new audio commentary. So we're seeing a lot of Kino releasing stuff with new 2K masters, which is really nice because sometimes they don't tell you where if these are getting remastered or not.
Yeah.
This is also directed by the Mary Poppins director, Robert Stevenson.
Nice.
That's all I can contribute because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and this film is interesting. I almost got this film confused with the other one we just talked about, the Margaret Stewart and Jimmy, the Margaret Sullivan and Jimmy Stewart film. This film is interesting because it's dealing with like infidelity.
Yeah.
And you would think that film 1941 were right in the Hays Code era, where of course marriage and sexual stuff and all that stuff would be stuff they wouldn't allow. But it's dealing with Charles Boyer's character is a married man, and he's kind of having an affair with this woman throughout like many years, and she's just like his affair, side woman while he has like a wife and children.
Mistress. That's it.
Mistress. And he's just like, and you just see like kind of how that relationship has its ups and downs, and how she's, kind of being kept like he provides her with money and a house and stuff like that, but what she really wants is to be with him, but he can't because he has other obligations. They put out a lot of Charles Boyer films. He's a really, really good actor at his time, and I realized I've seen so many films from him over the last few years.
That sounds like a Woody Allen film. It sounds like you just described a Woody Allen
Yeah,
film.
it really does. It's kind of like an affair to remember, but like a more long-term one, in terms of like it's not just one instance, but it kind of a long-term.
He's not acting like
affair.
Charles. He's not acting like Woody Allen in that movie, right? Because I'm not a big fan.
No,
He's not like how
not-
neurotic, like.
No, there's no neurosis in it.
Okay, good, because
If anything,
I'll
he's
be honest,
acting
I'm not big on Woody
Charles
Allen.
Boyer, Charles Boyer, the complete opposite of Woody Allen on screen.
Okay,
Charles
good,
Boyer
good.
is suave and cool and romantic and endearing and just
You're literally describing the opposite of Woody Allen.
yeah, like he's just making women swoon in the film and then while watching the film.
Definitely describing the opposite.
Yeah, that's how Charles Boyer kind of played most of his characters were, men in romantic relationships with women, but like really heightened like fantasy, romantic, situations.
They fell in love seconds into seeing each other, basically, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
stuff like that. But moving on from there, we have Blue Skies with Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, Joan Caulfield, Irving Berlin's Blue Skies.
So it's probably
And
a musical.
It is a musical.
Yes.
It is a musical, and dancing is in the film as well. And it's a
I
love
would hope so.
triangle.
Yeah.
The movie's essentially a love triangle between those three characters or actors portraying characters. And this film famously has the song "Putting on the Ritz" in it, which is
yes.
Portrayed in the film. Originally written by Irving Berlin, I think back in the 20s or 30s. I don't know. I'm not a musical, historian or anything like that. I just love Fred Astaire, so I watched it, and it came out in 1946. What is interesting about this film is that this apparently was going to be Fred Astaire's last film. Like he kind of semi-retired after it, or he said that he was going to retire after it. But I think he came back and did more films after this as
So
well.
he's like Clint Eastwood. He just won't fucking stop.
I guess. Yeah, I didn't put
Yeah.
that together. It is getting a brand new 2K master and newly remastered audio, which I guess is important if it's a musical.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, I got to get that.
Yeah, I
You
would
got to
hope
get that
so.
brightness, that
Yeah, you
nice
gotta-
color,
you gotta-
colors in there.
Well, Well, audio.
Well, audio
So,
too, of
music.
course. Yeah. Sorry,
Sound.
I was kind of half listening. My cat is distracting me. Like, is this
Oh,
the
no.
first time I've had my cat down here for a podcast? And
didn't tell me
the
that
cat's like
earlier.
wants attention, but I can't give him attention because he might like destroy the podcast as we're on. So I,
Sorry, that's like my kids. I'm like, guys, I'm recording. I refuse to give you any attention.
I don't
You
care
wanna
about your
eat?
life right
Figure
now.
it out.
Yes. Your life is
exactly.
meaningless. Movies are at stake.
Yes.
You're right. You are secondary to my dumb
Yeah.
podcast.
At this moment, not any other time. Just at this moment. Yeah.
Just this moment. Just this moment in time.
Sure. I mean, I don't even go that
well,
far.
you're,
I
you're
don't,
nicer
you
than
know.
yeah. No.
I don't tell them
I guess
that.
we're the nice ones here. But cool. Yeah. Fred Astaire musical. I mean, that's got to be worth something
Yeah,
right there,
Bing
right?
Crosby singing it up, of course.
Of course.
And next up is Screams of a Winter Night.
This is
which
changing
is
it
the
up a
complete
lot here.
opposite.
Yeah.
A complete opposite of a 1940s musical
Yes.
is a 1970s horror film.
Oh.
This is getting a 2K scan of the uncut director's edition. Original theatrical cut is included as well. And I know nothing about this movie
No.
other than
I've never
it
heard
being,
of that.
Other than it having two wildly different cuts.
Yeah.
One is 119 minutes, the other one is 91 minutes. So that is
Whoa, okay.
wide ranging.
Well, it's getting a
That's
a
great.
spectacular slipcover, so it's got to be
It is.
something about it. It must have cult status.
I like the blurb on it though. Did you read that?
I'm gonna do it right now in my scary voice. Okay, in the shadows of evil,
Nice.
in the echoes of sin, in the icy stare of moonlight, our ghostly tale begins. It was a dark and stormy night when the kids arrived at the lake. Screams of a winter's night. How do you think those stories get started? Okay, so that was it.
It looks
That
like
was-
a
that was-
1970s
I mean, I don't.
slasher.
I have a hard time.
That was
that
really good? I mean, other than you saying icy Astaire, because I think you still have Fred Astaire on
you
the
know,
brain. But, we might want to take it again, but it was really good.
I'm just gonna say that I have a learning disability. I don't, but I'm just a slow.
You're gonna self-diagnose
let me
as
say this.
dyslexic, I guess.
You've seen Rocky 3 where he tries to do commercials. No, Rocky 2 where he tries to do commercials.
Yeah.
That's me. I have a hard time
course.
reading things in the moment. I have to practice. So yeah, that was my chance, and I blew it. So I guess I'll never.
It's all right. No, you didn't. I shouldn't have pointed it out. I should have just said that sounded great. Let's try it again.
We don't have a whole podcast
I don't think
for me
I'm
to get this right. So,
all right.
I know.
but yes, never heard of
Moving
this.
back, moving back in time, back to 1950, we have Shakedown, which I assume is a film noir, just judging by the plot synopsis and the cover. This movie I could not find at all to watch anywhere, and it was really unfortunate because I really wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting a brand new 2K master. It's getting a new commentary, and I just love the first line of this description here. It says, "His camera was more deadly than a gangster's gun."
Jeez.
How else do you sell a movie? You have to sell it.
I don't
Pretty
know.
great. Yeah.
Other than, I mean, I could tell you how you don't sell a movie is by getting me to do the damn voiceover. I've messed it up again.
The film also has Lawrence Tierney in it as well, but his name is listed last, so I don't know if he has that big of a part in it. But he's just a notable name that I think is worth mentioning.
Okay.
Next is, let's see, we have By Candlelight,
Yes.
which is something that I also really wanted to watch because it is a film from 1933, right before the Hays Code was introduced, so it would be a
Okay.
pre-code film. And
Some of that stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Like that.
Give me all the
Some of those
pre-code.
films are the best ones to watch.
Yeah.
Just great.
give me all the pre-code possible. It says just coming soon on Blu-ray 2022 4K restoration by Universal Pictures. So I'm guessing they're restoring it now.
And this is a James Wells film, so
Yes.
so that's a good one. I mean, he's the guy that did a lot of the monster movies back.
Yeah,
in the
he
day.
did Frankenstein, The Old Dark House, Kiss Before the Mirror, and The Invisible Man. And I think he also did Dracula.
Did
as
he do
well,
the
the
first
original-
Dracula?
Bela Lugosi, Dracula?
He did
No,
Invisible.
that
Yeah,
was,
no, he did Showboat.
Maybe he did. Maybe it was James Whale. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
I don't
now.
think so. I'm not seeing it here.
No, that was.
Okay, never type
I can't think
in-
of his name.
let's see. Dracula. Oh,
Is that
Todd
Dracula
Brown.
with a Drac with the
The
double-
W.
Yeah. Dracula was Todd Browning.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That was I
Yes.
was trying to think of. I was gonna say the guy who made Freaks, but I was like, well, I don't know
That's
that.
Todd Browning.
That is him.
Yeah,
That is
right.
Todd
Yeah.
Browning.
No, I know, but it's not. It,
Yeah.
it wouldn't get me closer
Yeah,
to Todd
yeah.
Browning.
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
wouldn't be able to get his
Speaking
name.
of which, I would love if Freaks would get a Blu-ray release
Jesus,
at some
please.
point.
Oh my
ever.
god! Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. And I also don't know why they put out those monster movies on 4K without The Mummy or Creature from the Black Lagoon. Does that make sense?
Was that just one of the
anyone?
recent ones? Is that? Did they?
No,
They put out the set with Dracula, Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and Wolfman, and that's
Wow.
no creature. Yeah, wow, no creature.
Yeah.
That's kind of frustrating. It's also frustrating for me because they've re-released those movies
Every
so
Halloween?
many incredible times.
Every Halloween? It's like a damn Saw movie. You know?
I think we talked about it a couple of episodes ago, where it's like they put those out on Blu-ray in their essential set, then they release them individually, then they just re-release those in different aesthetic packaging over time, glow-in-the-dark packaging, different slipcovers, steel books, this and
Next
that.
thing you know, it's gonna be like pop-up books or something. You know, you're gonna have its own pop-up book. You know,
Then they put out the collections with all the sequels in them, and they put all those out on Blu-ray individually and in a box together, and then now they're putting them out all in 4K in a box together.
but without some of the. But
And now without.
even and the sequels aren't there. So yeah, this is
there's going to be another
this is going
release
to
of those.
5 or 6 times until you get all the sequels in 4K.
I
all
guess
packaged
everybody
together.
everybody buys these movies, so like they have to keep up with like the growth of like the population. You know, like every time somebody's born, they have to like make up for the new people that are being born.
Well, because these movies have been reintroduced to people throughout generations for the last 80, 90 years or so. So it's just
So you didn't.
constantly.
So you didn't get the memo that you have to gift your newborn child these movies.
No,
That's
no.
it. Yeah, see,
I
I,
did
I knew
not.
it.
No.
I knew it.
Okay. Okay. Because as expectant parents, you should have gotten that from the
Yeah,
government.
everybody, it's like required viewing that everybody has to see
Exactly.
Frankenstein.
Yes.
And everybody
Yeah,
has to
I
see
have 3
Dracula.
daughters. They all have their own sets. It's fine.
It's just the way it is. But moving on from that tangent, Universal Pictures and Kino do seem to work very, very well together. And Universal loves to give away their license to other companies to put out their stuff, unless it's their big stuff like Jaws and Back to the Future. They keep
about it.
that in house. They keep that in
Yeah,
house.
And Fast and the Furious, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think every studio should do. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know why studios don't do it, but Universal turns around. They're like, "Oh, you're going to give us money for this?
Yeah.
Fine, okay, go
Yeah,
right
there you
ahead."
go.
So
We don't have to-
Yeah,
we don't have to
I have
pay.
no issue with them doing it. I hope everybody does.
Yeah, it's like
that.
we don't have to pay to make the discs or put the stuff
Yeah.
on the disc. You're going to do it for us? All right.
Oh, and you're going to slap our logo all over the place?
know.
Fantastic.
You'll even put us in like the announcements for it and all that kind of stuff where people on podcasts talk about it. Of course, free marketing.
Yep.
Here you go. I do wish more studios were that friendly with their back catalog, because it's taken a long time for a lot of these stuff to get out. And I mean, I've criticized Universal over the years for not handling their back catalog well themselves. So if you're not going to do it well yourself, give it to somebody else who
Exactly.
will do it. But they've made amends for a lot of that.
Do you want the job, Andrew? I can call him. We can call him up.
Oh, please do.
You want to put out their back?
Please do.
Okay, all right. We'll get him. We'll get him on the phone.
Get him.
Wait, you have. I assume his name is Sam Universal. You have his phone number.
Yes.
I can't confirm or deny that his name's
Okay,
Sam,
all right,
but
great.
no, I'm just kidding.
Okay,
But
fantastic.
yes, we will make this happen, Andrew. I didn't know you were so
Nice.
you felt so strongly about.
Oh yeah, I've been going at them for years. Ever since they butchered a few of their catalog releases like over a decade ago, but they've made up for it.
Okay.
Because they've re-released them, and they've given them restorations and remasters that were worthy of the films. You know, Dare Hunter, The Sting.
Oh yeah.
Those types of stuff. Those early Blu-rays were not impressive. Their early Hitchcock stuff, not good, from 10 years ago. Now they're starting to come back and re-put them out in 4K, and now they're giving them the treatment that they deserve. But moving on from there, we have another film being put out by Kino Lorber, and that is Grand Slam, which is a
Baseball movie, right?
Oh, you would think so.
Oh,
You would
it's
think
not?
so, but apparently no. It is actually a heist movie from 1967.
Oh.
A diamond heist movie because everybody was stealing diamonds in heist movies in the 60s and 70s, and maybe now as well.
Well, this looks
I
like...
don't know, diamonds have always been valuable, I guess.
yeah. Is this an Italian film? Or is this...
I don't know, but I think it's set in Italy and probably was made in Italy
Yeah.
because I saw a lot of... I watched it last night in the wee hours of the morning, like 5 a.m., and there was... I don't know if my brain was just mush at the time or if there was some overdubbing happening.
Well,
because
it's
it
definitely...
looked like it.
Yeah, it says filming locations are actually in a lot of different places. Barcelona, Spain. Well,
Well, it does take place there.
yeah, so...
in Europe.
Yeah.
So it's directed by Giuliano Montaldo, and the music is done by Ennio Morricone.
Nice.
Get-
Very nice.
Famous Spaniards, both of them.
But the film does star Janet Leigh and Edward G. Robinson. Edward G. Robinson plays apparently he's been like a college professor for like 20 years or so, but I guess he has a shady past and he wants to get back in the game. And he's been planning this big heist now for years, and he wants to pull it off.
Hey,
So he hires a crew of like 4 people to pull it off.
one of them must be Klaus Kinski, because he's in this film.
One of them is Klaus Kinski.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. That elevates anything.
Yes.
I
does.
wonder if Werner Herzog somewhere
Saw it,
shows up in
was
this
like, I
movie.
need to work with this guy, and then we're just gonna hate each other, and it's just gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
I guess that's what was gonna happen. But
Yeah,
I
this is
think
interesting. This looks interesting to me. might have to check this one
It's
out.
not a bad. It's
Yeah, it
actually
sounds
really.
great.
It's actually really good.
Okay, cool.
It's 2 hours long, maybe a little too long, but if you're a fan of like heist films, then I think you'll dig it.
Cool. All right. Well, this sounds like a grand slam.
Awesome.
Oh man,
Grand
I
Slam.
just that was
Not
too
a great
easy.
title for that movie though.
Yeah, it sounds like
Like-
a baseball movie. I don't,
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's like an alternate title,
or maybe a
like
sex comedy. I don't know.
a U.S. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a U.S. title or something.
That was pretty good.
I mean, the original title is in Italian. It's Ad Ogni Costo, which I don't know what that translates into.
Grand Slam.
Oh, probably.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know Italian, of course.
Yeah. I'm watching too many Fellini films. I guess I know Italian now. That's not true.
No.
But
Maybe it takes place during a baseball game, like a
wish.
Logan Lucky sort of situation.
oh yeah.
Andrew,
Yep.
is there a
Moving
baseball
on.
game involved?
No, there's not a
damn
baseball game. No, there's
All right.
not a baseball
Well,
game.
fine. Let's go to this next one that looks interesting.
Yeah, what's not a baseball game is The Last Train from Madrid, which is a film from 1937, starring Dorothy Lamour and Lou Ayres, who I think is an underrated actor, a great actor. And Anthony Quinn is also in the film. Early Anthony Quinn must be. Alan Ladd as well, and Robert Cummings. This is a very interesting film. This was announced earlier today, so there's not much when it comes to details on it. It just says coming soon on Blu-ray and a brand new 2K master. But I'm very, very interested in it just from that cast alone and the era in which it came out in.
Yeah, I mean it's like this is going to be it's a bunch of sex in this movie. Probably not, but
My guess is not.
it sounds like an orgy. It sounds like it could be Caligula. I don't know. It's a story of 7 people, their lives and love affairs in Madrid during the Civil War. I mean, come on now.
The Spanish Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to at least be one
It's gotta at
threesome.
least
Seven's
be.
an odd number. Like
2
something's gotta
threesomes
be
and a
going
guy
on.
in the corner, just you know.
Right. Yes, exactly.
But
I doubt it highly.
oh, come on! Why are you always such
I
a
know.
downer, Andrew? Jeez.
I don't know. I'm having some. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be that way.
Okay, all right, whatever.
But I do like the poster though. That's a very nice poster.
Yeah.
I wish I had some of these old school posters just to hang up.
Well, you can probably get some reprints.
Yeah,
we
some
can get you some
reprints on
reprints. Yeah.
But what also is a cool poster is Samson and the 7 Miracles of the World. It's a film that I knew nothing about. Came out in 1961, starring Gordon Scott, and I'm guessing it's about Samson, who's the legendary Herculean type person.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more Samson and Delilah. That's my extent of when it comes to Samson on screen.
Right.
And
But didn't they make a bunch of just a series of, and we talked about Italian films, like those Hercules movies,
Yes.
and I think they did the same thing with these Samson films, stuff like that, right? Sinbad, all that
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
kinda-
wasn't there just a glut of those
are
things
they
at one
called,
point?
like sword and sandal type
Yeah.
films?
Yeah, yep.
I mean, they had sword and sandal type epics. Like the really great ones would be like Ben-Hur and
Right.
Ten Commandments, stuff like that. The
Yeah.
biblical epics.
But these ones always seem to have like magic sprinkled in and like mythical beasts and stuff every now and
it's
then.
not-
That's
it's
again,
not
I know
like-
nothing about it either, but I'm assuming that's probably what you're
That's
looking
what it
at
seemed
here.
like to me. The Samson and Delilah that I'm familiar with is the one directed by Cecil B. DeMille, starring Hedy Lamarr, Victor Mature, George Sanders, like big name type people. This seems a little bit on the lower rung.
This is a rip. This is a Italy Italian ripoff kind of.
Kind of probably just taking the
Right.
name of Samson and kind of capitalizing off of it at the time. I don't know. I've never seen the movie, so I couldn't tell you about the quality of it. All I can say is they're really trying to sell you about the whole Samson myth on this cover here by having him just,
Fighting
saying
tigers.
see
and,
the miracles of the man made earthquake. All this kind of superfluous stuff.
all right. Well, that seems to be it for the Kino stuff that we're going to talk about today.
Oh, hey, can I jump
Sure.
in real quick? Because I said earlier, I am not just a guest, but I'm a listener. And if we're talking about Kino stuff, I think a couple episodes ago, you guys were talking about a movie coming out by
Okay.
Kino, and you both said like, I don't know, I'll wait on it for sale. Maybe I'll check it out streaming. I got to tell you, Electra Glide in Blue, don't sleep on
Okay.
it. Get it.
I
It's
think I remember
amazing.
calling
And
it like a bunch of cops dancing or something like that.
Right. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
like, this sounds like a comedy
yeah.
or something. And I'm not trying to oversell this, but if you like Easy Rider,
Okay.
watch this
All right.
movie.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really great.
Okay,
Yes.
expecting-
that's an interesting. Okay, you got me on board now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. So this is for you and your listeners as well. Like if people
Why
have not
weren't you
seen it,
there
check
for
it
that
out. It's
episode?
really
Jesus.
fantastic.
I know, seriously. Could have used you.
I know.
I do want to say one more thing before we transition out of Kino into our next, subject or the next company we're going to talk about. The In the Heat of the Night 4K that's coming out is also including the sequels to In the Heat of the Night as well.
I just saw that. I could not believe it. I was already pretty excited about it, but man, I didn't see this coming at all.
What are the name of the sequels? In the Warmth of the Night, or in
Oh,
the,
no,
in the coolness
No,
of the night?
one is
They call
called
him-
They Call Me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I've heard of that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I forgot what the third film was called.
I forget what the third one's called too.
Mm.
But yeah, I saw that as just, these are just additional supplements thrown on. I was like, these are two complete
Yeah.
films. That's amazing.
And I think they're only going to be on. They may only be on one disc. I'm not quite sure.
They are.
And
yeah,
which is a kind
that's
of
what it
unfortunate
says.
because they've already released these individually on Blu-ray a couple of years ago, on their with their own disc, with their own release.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unfortunate that they're kind of sticking them on there on one disc, but they are, I guess, more supplemental.
Yeah, so is this and I don't know if you have it in front of you, and if you can't answer the question, I'll pretend I never asked it. So is this a 3-disc set as well? Meaning, is there just another disc of supplements, or are the supplements on the 4K and then I can't imagine them putting 2 Blu-rays on a disc and putting more supplements on that.
Let me.
Sorry,
Yeah. I'm going to
sorry,
look
I
that
didn't mean
up
to-
just because that's a good question. Because if you go to Blu-ray.com, the breakdown really doesn't. The breakdown says one disc, and there's no way this is a one disc set. It's
Right.
impossible.
Yeah, right now I'm not seeing
not with 3
anything
movies.
so far that's elaborating.
Yeah. I just didn't know if in their latest tweet or
The
announcement
last
when
time
talked
they
about
brought
the
it
other
up,
movies.
other than an update to their cover on their Facebook page, is from right after Christmas. So I don't. Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
seeing
all right.
anything.
Actually, I'm on their site right now,
Okay.
and I can check directly from.
Yeah, I
from
kind
the
of
horse's
forget
mouth.
if I saw it. Yeah, I didn't know if I saw it as a Facebook post or I saw it as a, Instagram Post. I'll just keep
Post.
saying
Yeah,
Post.
there you go.
Post.
Keep saying.
Post
they're
Malone.
Let's see. There is, I think it's just a 2-disc set. Yeah, so disc 2
Okay,
is a
all right.
Blu-ray. It has They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, which came out in 1970, and then The Organization, which came out in 1971. So those will be on the second disc, and it also has a couple of special features as well: Turning Up the Heat, The Slap Heard Around the World, Quincy Jones' Breaking News Sound, and I think those are special features that pertain specifically to In the Heat of the Night.
The sequels.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the Heat of the
okay.
Night. I don't think the sequels
Yeah.
had anything in terms of special features on their
Okay.
original releases. That I'd have to look up, but I don't think so, just because Kino typically doesn't put a lot of special features. Those
Right.
I think are like carries over from I think the original Blu-ray release, and I'm not sure. Still have to look up whether we're getting the same special features from the Criterion being transferred over as well. Because this movie's gotten so many releases over the last decade.
Yeah.
It's now the third release. It's kind of wild. But yeah, so it's just a 2-disc set right now. So I thought that was just interesting to bring up because
No,
we're
that's
not
great.
just getting one movie, we're getting 3 movies.
Yeah, they got to, the company's got to do something to entice people to buy it again.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. It's like, people are going to be making a choice whether they want to buy this.
Right.
If they already own the Criterion, they're going to have to, there's going to be something in there that is significantly different.
Because some
Other
people
than
don't care
just-
about 4K. Yeah.
Not only that, some people also hey, the Criterion's going to look, really, really good. Is this going to look that much better to the point where I'm going to have to
You
spend
sound like me.
$30?
It's me.
That's exactly what
That's
you're just
what I
trying
say.
to say.
Yeah, I'm like, does
I'm
it really
talking for
matter?
Steven.
Do I need to
Yeah.
buy the apartment again? Because the
No.
damn Arrow one looks fantastic. I don't know how much better you can get.
That's true. I mean, from what I've heard,
Do you have that Arrow hard box?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
the hard box.
Because
Oh.
yeah, it's an easy. Yeah, you buy it on 4K. You take the
Oh,
disc
no,
out. You put it in the Arrow hard box.
no.
You throw the other thing
I'm
out
gonna
the window.
know. I'm gonna know. I'm gonna look at it. It's, like,
I
it's
still
got a
got it
Kino
right
in
here.
it. It's got a Kino inside of it. I know it does.
You're not gonna know.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, that.
I
thing
get
that
it with
pops
this.
up
I
on
get that.
TikTok
I
and
get that
Instagram.
Kino one with the slip cover, and then I just throw away the slip cover, and then somebody
God.
from a distance cries like, "No!"
That's like
No.
Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. It's as if
Yeah,
suddenly,
it's
millions
it's
of
bad,
voices
and
screamed out.
I know I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't do things like this, but I have that big, Hitchcock Blu-ray box with the, book.
Yeah,
with
the terrible,
sleeves and
yeah, the
everything
packaging.
like that.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And I kind of don't think it's terrible, but I bought the new book of 4K, and I just took
Yeah,
those
yeah.
discs out and put it into the old
mean,
one
might
because
as well- I
the
mean, I-
4K is a flimsy piece of
yeah.
garbage.
What I did is I bought them individually.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I just kind of waited because I had a feeling
Yeah.
that they were going to release them individually and then also release more, and they are going to release more. Like we're getting a bunch more of them as well.
Well,
So
I mean, the fact that they didn't release North by Northwest seems to be some sort of crime.
well-
Like someone should be locked
Well,
up.
I
for
mean,
that.
the reason why is because North by Northwest is owned by Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers, I guess, has to put that out themselves, and who knows
If that
how
will
or
happen.
when that's going to happen.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm kind of glad I don't know these things because it's more depressing when you know these things. Other than me running around going, I wonder why
Yeah.
this isn't out
I mean,
yet.
I just like answering. There's always answers to certain questions, and I like hunting down the answers. It's like, because all the pieces start coming together. It's like,
Yeah.
so that's why in this country that movie can't come out because
Yep.
they own this, or why here that movie can't come out. Like for example, Dario Argento's Phenomena. Synapse is putting out the 4K here and not Arrow, while Arrow's put out the other movies here. It's because
Right.
Synapse owns the rights here and Arrow doesn't, and et cetera, et cetera. But moving on, I guess, Stephen.
Okay.
Let's moving on to
let's,
the next
yeah.
thing on the agenda.
Let's get out of the Kino woods of Kino, and we got a couple like little single releases before we get into Criterion, and some old stuff that we need to bring back up too. So this was dropped, and I don't think anybody really knew anything about it until I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, let me look into this. So a film called The Farmer. Which apparently has a cult status to it, and is really hard to find because I had a hard time finding it. I finally tracked it down to watch it. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, Scorpion Releasing is putting out the film The Farmer from 1977, starring Gary Conway, and this is kind of one of them films that a lot of these films came out back in the day, you know, revenge kind of like political movies where like, kind of like Rambo, where you got like an army vet who comes back home and he's got like this dream to like, the American dream to start his own farm in this case. And then like people start kind of like coming after him and, you know, he has to take revenge, you know, for the things that happened in the film. I don't want to give anything away, but definitely, it's a solid revenge. It's kind of along the lines also of what's that other one that came out? Rolling in the Thunder. Is that the name of it?
Oh, Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder. Yeah,
Maybe see.
it's kind of close to on the level of quality around like Rolling Thunder quality.
Okay.
If you like that film, but the version I watched was terrible condition. It was VHS.
Oh, I bet it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I heard that this has been. I heard that this has been clamored after for high quality release for years.
Yeah, and it's getting an HD scan. It doesn't really have any features that I'm seeing, but it is getting a new HD scans is what it says. So,
and it is going to be kind of super limited in terms of availability. I think only
might have been
2,000, $2,500 copies, to the point where pre-orders I think are selling like crazy.
I pre-ordered it.
Oh, he's one of the problem people.
I'm ashamed it's so bad.
No wonder why. I think like the pre-orders were so rapid that they had to increase the price of it on some website. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Around.
Yeah, it
And I
was.
was
It was
like,
on
whoa.
like yeah.
Yeah.
It was almost like you needed like, yeah, you like the pre-order price was almost to like reserve your copy of it. Hence why it's a pre-order
Wow.
price. But I guess it was like a more like official like reserved pricing now.
So did you pre-order before you watched it, during your watch, or
That's a
after
good question.
your watch?
That's a really good question. I like to know these things too.
Before I watched it.
Okay, no. I mean, at least you didn't say, then I watched it and I canceled
No,
my
no.
pre-order.
Yeah,
like, at least
that's
that
true.
wasn't the
Now,
follow-up.
see,
That's true.
I did my pre-order through Diabolic, so if I cancel
Okay.
it, that means I only get store credit. But why does that matter? I'm just going to buy something from them again.
Right, yeah.
But I'm not one to cancel something. If I don't like something, or I'm going to just sell it later. Maybe that's
Okay.
what my plans will be.
You are loyal. You are very
I'm
loyal.
very
Steven.
loyal. Yes.
You better sell it quick because Kino will put this out next
Yeah.
year.
You're right. There'll be a 4K of it somehow. Yeah.
Right.
But this was an interesting one. It's hard to it's hard to say so much about it because it was such bad quality that I watched it in. I can't say like the direction was great or like the cinematography. It was hard to watch it because it was so pixelated. But I got the gist of it, and it seems like a cool movie. I mean, I like a good revenge movie. So yeah. Anybody seen this one? I'm guessing not.
No, I tried to find it, couldn't find it.
Yeah, I
Surprised you
found it on Vimeo.
Oh, of all places.
Yeah, somebody
Of
uploaded
all
a
places.
VHS version on Vimeo.
Oh, brutal.
I
Brutal.
Yeah, like I said, I looked through the show notes and I tried to find a lot of the stuff on the show notes.
It's
couldn't,
tough, man.
I couldn't
It-
find
That
this.
it's honestly really tough.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not that savvy anyway. Well, I'll talk about one of the movies I watched a little bit later on that I, quote unquote, got the gist of, and there are reasons for it.
But I can't wait for us to get. Don't give it away. I don't want to know what the movie is. I'm
Don't
just
worry.
I'm gonna guess later. But
Okay.
so the next thing we got another single release here from Film Movement.
Yes.
and
I saw this
Yeah.
and I lost my goddamn
I
mind.
know, well, please don't lose it right now because we got to talk about
Okay.
it.
I gotta keep it together.
Yeah,
Keep it together.
we don't need another situation like a few weeks ago where, or maybe a month ago, where you started going off the handle with Criterion, talking through
Yeah, you're gonna have to stop me
every
later.
special feature and everything. I'm like, Andrew, calm down.
I started getting flashbacks to when we first started the show.
Yeah, when we
used
first
to
started
read
the show,
off
we ran through all the special features and
features.
shit. We don't do that anymore. And he was like doing that with what was the movie?
Yep.
I got excited. I can't remember.
You got excited about the was it
Was it Le Cercle Rouge?
That was it. Le Cercle Rouge.
Yeah, because they re-released it. I thought it was gone forever, and I'm like,
and a little behind the scenes here, and I did this. This is why we're so full. We're so full disclosure here, because I don't really care, but I do care. But like, I had to like stop Andrew, and I edited it out because I felt bad later. I was like, man, I kind of was mean to Andrew, but I was like, Andrew, you got to stop. I was like, dude, you're going on a rampage here. He's like, yeah, I'm just excited about this. Really, I'm like, look, I get it, but we don't do this anymore. We don't talk through every special feature.
We don't have time for this.
You know,
time's precious.
You got a lot to talk about.
Oh no, that's great. I appreciate that from kind of like your perspective, but I love the fact that you're the editor, because I edit my podcast, so I will just let Jamie go on and on and on and just sit there the whole time going, well, I'm cutting this. And
see, I'm trying to avoid that. And that's my thing. Yeah.
Again, she doesn't listen. She'll never know. So I don't know if you guys listen back, but if he doesn't listen.
Well, the thing is you're more patient than me. I just don't want to. I don't want to have to edit it. I don't have to edit it. So I try to tell him to shut up. And then he either listens or he doesn't listen.
Screenshots.
Usually he doesn't.
You're not taking screenshots of timestamps.
Usually I just go.
He just goes on.
What is interesting? I mean, what is interesting is we were talking about, just to bring it circle back to the beginning of the show. I don't get to talk about this a lot at any other point during.
Oh, sure.
Like, regular, everyday life. So when it comes time for the podcast, it's kind of like just go bananas.
He's trying to make me feel bad. I get it.
No, I can't, I could run up to my wife and say that, Severin's putting out a 4K of Santa Sangre, and she'll be like, what is that, a Mexican restaurant? Words
yeah.
Exactly.
It's like,
so,
how can
I totally get it.
Yeah, it's like, how can I explain to somebody why, like, Criterion re-releasing Le Cercle Rouge is amazing, because it went out of print 10 years ago and I didn't buy it, and because I didn't know what it was at the time when I saw it. So it's like, how can I tell you that this is like a 10 years in the making? Like, it's monumental.
I get it, Andrew. Look, somebody's got to produce this show. Somebody's got to keep us under 4 hours. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
If it wasn't for me, we would be doing 5-hour podcasts every time, and my wife would have killed me by now. Okay.
I know, probably. Yeah. But getting back on target, back on track. Film Movement is putting out Ang Lee's Pushing Hands, his first feature-length film from 1991, sourced from a 2K restoration. I am ecstatic about this because I think this movie is absolutely fantastic. I wrote about this movie in that aforementioned paper I did for my History of China class, and it's a really phenomenal film, and it hasn't been available here really at all, like barely on DVD. There's been Blu-rays floating around overseas in like Germany and Taiwan and other places like that, but this is a big one here, and I think it's an amazing film, and I'm super glad it's coming out. There's no release date on it, there's nothing like that, no list of special features, just says new 2K Master coming soon. But
hopefully it's not one of them like a year from now it's coming out, because that happens sometimes.
It really does. I mean, I'll wait a year for it. I don't want to, but I'll do it.
I don't know much about Film Movement. I don't know how reliable they are, or regarding their announcements, how early they talk about things. But yeah, it sounds promising, and this is nothing. I've never seen this, so that's pretty.
I haven't seen it either.
I can't highly recommend this movie enough. It's part of his his first 3 films, which is kind of like his Father Knows Best trilogy or something like that, where each film is based on like family and tradition and the changing of generations and stuff. Very Ozu like, very similar to that. It has it's Pushing Hands, it's The Wedding Banquet, and it's Eat Drink Man Woman, I think, or Eat Drink, something like that. Yeah, Eat Drink Man Woman, and The Wedding Banquet for some reason was put out on Blu-ray and then went out of print very, very quickly and goes for an exorbitant amount of money, and I don't know why. And it's really frustrating that tends to happen, and it's I just really would love someone to re-release that at some point. It's not even available kind of anywhere, and it came out in 2017, so it's not like it's that long ago. But Pushing Hands is coming out from Film Movement. And Steven, I know we've talked about Film Movement before, but I can't remember in what context. They put out The Great Silence.
Yeah, The Great Silence.
That's the movie they put out.
Yeah.
And they've put out some other films as well. They're a smaller company that don't put out a lot of stuff. I think most recently, they put out
another one that I have. Another one I
Fritz
have.
Lang's Indian Epic.
Yeah.
I think was one they put out a couple of years ago.
There's a movie called Bent that they put out that I've talked about too. That's like a Holocaust film about the point of view from homosexuals in the Holocaust.
Okay.
And it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're putting out a movie called Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy.
Yeah.
Which came out last year. They're putting it out this year, so they only really come out with a handful of releases per year.
Yeah, they're kind of like
under 10, really small company.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're kind of like what's that? I'm blanking on
Oscilloscope.
Yeah, they're like an oscilloscope or like
I think Oscilloscope maybe even smaller.
Yeah. But they're quality. I got a couple of their releases, and everything always looks good. And it's just I'm not really sure when this is going. Hopefully, this comes out maybe by summertime or something. But all right, so let's move on to the next thing we got here. I think we got these are not like really like official announcements, but they were kind of dropped. As like I guess like they're coming soon. It's kind of like Kino has a bunch of coming soon, releases that are dropped. The same thing with one of the partner labels from Vinegar Syndrome, Deaf Crocodile, who just actually put out their first release in the last month's slate, and now they're advertising for some of their other releases coming out. And Andrew, I'm going to let you say all these titles because I'll just mess them up.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Okay, so Deaf Crocodile, they're coming to Blu-ray in summer of 2022, so at least we get a general gist of when that's going to occur. Yeah. And these films are...
I mean, the names of the titles are easy, but I can't say the names of the directors that go along with them.
Oh, gee, I can't even... Let me hold on. Let me get my IMDb.
Alex Strong.
So they're getting 4K Yeah. So I think... so let's just say the names of the films.
Sure.
And let's go
through
them. So 4K restorations of The Sword and the Dragon, also known and Sampo, which is also known as The Day the Earth Froze, and 2K restoration of Zero Grad. All three films were released in summer of 2022. And yes, The Sword and the Dragon is fascinating to me because there was a Mystery Science Theater episode that actually did this movie, but this movie has a couple of iterations of its existence. And there's the one that's, I guess, mostly well known and is actually terrible is the one that was actually re-edited by Roger Corman in like 1960 and then released to U.S. audiences. And apparently it's a horrifically bastardized version of what the original film was. And this is kind of a mythic film about like Russian folklore, for Russian like mythic legend. It's based on a mythical knight who goes on an epic journey and fights like mythical barbarian and stuff like that. It's directed by Alexander Tushko, I believe it's how you say.
Sounds amazing.
How you say it?
That's amazing.
And there's a couple of different cuts of the movie. I'm assuming they're going to give us the original cut because the original title of the movie is called Ilya Muromets, who is the character that the movie's based on. And The Sword and the Dragon is kind of the more, title they gave to sell to audiences in the U.S. market, right. Of course, because it sounds cooler. But it doesn't really have to do with swords and dragons. Jesus, it really doesn't. No. I mean, at one point he does fight the type of Hydra-type creature. Yeah. But it's
not... And that Mystery Science Theater version, if that's the movie they sold to U.S. markets, like that thing's unwatchable.
It's bad.
Really you don't know what's happening at any time. I mean, that's what Mystery Science Theater is there for.
Yeah. That's the thing.
When I heard this announcement, just for a second, I went, I wonder if they're going to include that episode.
Probably
no,
not,
they're not going to. But that's the only version I saw is the Mystery Science Theater episode on it.
Yeah, I don't even know if the version I saw is the original version, because I don't quite know the difference in the cuts, and the runtimes aren't that different. The only runtime I get is an hour and 23 minutes, so I don't know if there's other runtimes. I do know that it was done to be like an epic, high quality movie. It was shot in 2.35:1 in CinemaScope, and it's in Technicolor. Apparently, from what I've heard, people have maybe seen screenshots of what the restoration looks like, and apparently it looks gorgeous because it's a very colorful film. But you're right, that version is not good because it's kind of cut down and just things don't make sense, and
it's just messy. And again, we talked about it before, but these epics, Sword and Sandal, that's personally not my bag. This was not that I wasn't okay with, I just wasn't excited about this. But again, I'm thinking about the Mystery Science Theater version.
That's the context we have.
No wonder.
That's the context we have. But the next film is also directed by Alexander Tushko, and it's called The Day the Earth Froze, or Sampo. And this is based off of Finnish mythology, so you're getting kind of the gist here that these are kind of these two at least are based on kind of magical, mythic, legend type stuff. And this I unfortunately did not get to see. And it's doesn't have the best rating on IMDb, but that's neither here nor there. But this is getting a 4K restoration, so if anything, it'll look really nice. And
is this the one? Is this the one you saw?
No, the last film was the one I saw. Zero
I'm talking to Doug. Doug.
Oh, Doug.
No, it's not.
I got confused.
And I'm kind of sad that you didn't see it either, because I had a question for you, because Mystery Science Theater did a movie called The Day the Earth Froze, and I think it was Finnish or Norwegian or something like that. So now I'm curious if, 3 for this company, if they're mining that old Mystery Science Theater catalog and being like, well, maybe these are pretty good films if we take the robots away and, don't cut them down quite much.
I mean, some of those movies from Mystery Science Theater, I'm a big Mystery Science Theater fan. Some of the movies aren't truly terrible that they watch, and then some are. Manos, The Hands of Fate is probably one of the worst movies ever made, hands down.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just...
But then you can watch The Mole People, and it's a pretty good movie on its own.
Then those movies get individual releases, and you're like, oh.
Yep.
I mean, they did do they did one of the Godzilla films once upon a time, which probably will never be released on any type of DVD version or official streaming version because of rights issues. But they did one of the Godzilla films, so that's a whole different conversation for a different time.
No, I was really just curious.
But I can definitely tell you that the next film, Zero Grad, it's called either Zero City or Earth Zero, or City Zero or Town Zero, whatever. It's actually a really great film.
It is good.
I was actually surprised how great it is. Steven, did you end up watching it?
Yeah, I ended up watching it. It is a weird, surreal, mind fuck
this
of a movie.
This movie's it's like a Russian David Lynch type film. Very surreal, very political, satirical.
There's a scene where he gets served a cake of his own head.
For no reason.
Yeah, for no reason.
All right, so here's a question I have for you guys, because this is the one.
Yes.
Okay.
Because when I started to get into whatever Tarkovsky, blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
See, this is something that would always come up when I was doing research, weird Russian films or something, and I must have seen the clip of that cake head 40 times. And for some reason, I would always look for a Blu-ray of this in any country. It was never around. I was really excited when I heard that this was going to be announced. I'm probably going to pick it up. I don't see why not. I kind of want you guys to send me the link, but I almost don't want to watch it, on my phone or through YouTube or whatever, because the only one I found was on, I think it was Vimeo or whatever. And I was so excited to sit and watch this before the show, but it was subtitled in Russian.
Yeah.
There was no English.
Yeah,
so
I believe it's on YouTube in pretty good condition.
I sent Steven the link of it.
No, you sent me the other movie.
What did I send you?
You sent me the first movie, the one.
Oh, I did send you, Sword and the Dragon.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so I'll have to check it out, because I did watch. I mean, even though I didn't know what they were saying.
Oh,
I
gee.
did watch about 20, 25 minutes of it, and I went, this looks great. I need to stop watching now because I don't want a movie spoiled for me when I can't understand a word
And,
they're
the thing
saying.
is, there's just like no music in this movie. There's like it's like a very quiet movie too, so it's like
Yeah,
not
right.
having it, not even having the music to help like sway the mood.
Yeah.
Like where the mood of the movie is like makes it even harder. But
Yeah, there's no real
Yeah.
mood in the movie. It's so unique and so different.
Yeah.
And it's just chock full of like political themes, particularly pertaining to like the late era Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Like the Soviet Union's on the verge of collapse because it would collapse a couple of years later. So the movie's like pointing out like certain political elements within it and the absurdities within it and all this kind of stuff. And there's just so much randomness in it that you don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment. And it's done in such a plain, almost, dry type humor and very direct, dry type humor that it is an acquirement. It felt very almost Monty Python-ish, but more straight-laced Monty Python-ish. Did you feel that,
it kind of
Steven?
feels like it has a little bit of like a Tati, like a French, like
Ooh,
new
yeah, like a
wavy,
Jacques Tati.
like a little bit of a
Yeah.
Tati feel to it, like where it was just just things coming out of nowhere, just very just random things. I mean, like the whole scene. You probably watched this towards the beginning with the girl, the receptionist, who's naked, and he's just like tells the boss that he's
He's
going.
like, she's naked, right? He's like,
Yeah,
the receptionist? Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I didn't
sure.
notice that.
And he goes out and looks. He's like, she is? Huh? Well, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Moving on. Moving
No,
on.
yeah, I'm very excited for this to be out because, like I said, again, I have heard of this movie for so long. I've seen clips for such a long time, and it was like, do you like El Topo? Well, you would love this movie too. So, yeah, I'm just very excited to see that.
Based
this
off
is
of how
finally
you
being
told
released.
us how you like when you're watching movies and you like immediately start like
Right.
looking up stuff about it. This is going to be one of the
Yeah.
movies where you're like wanting to look up things about it as you're watching it, and like trying to figure
Right.
out what the movie's trying to say.
I probably won't be able to find out anything.
It's
It'll be
going
very
to take you
frustrating
about a
experience,
year
but
to
it'll be
watch
worth
the movie
it.
because you're going to be stopping like, wait a second, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this out of the three, this is the one I think I'm definitely going to pick up. And I'm just excited that
Yeah.
the Vinegar Syndrome keeps investing in more partner labels and putting out
Yep.
more and more interesting stuff from different places. I mean, it's this is exciting. So, Andrew, anything else to add?
No, that is it. That is it for these three films. Deaf Crocodile is the label.
Yep.
And I'm glad Steven brought them to our attention. That was all a Steven thing.
Was
'Cause
it
he,
me?
He put that on the nose, and I was like, Deaf Crocodile. I saw that, but I didn't know you were going to talk about that.
Well, this is why I produced the No, I'm just kidding.
That is very
I'm
true.
just kidding.
It's very true.
But all
Nick,
right. Well,
yeah, we'll move on to, I guess, the complete opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to notoriety, and that is the April Criterion title announcements.
yes.
And we've got six brand new title announcements.
I think two of
And-
these are re-releases or
Upgrades. Yeah.
You want me to run them down, or you want me?
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I had to burp.
Okay.
So we got the two re-releases. We got the first one here is For All Mankind, which is getting a re-release in 4K. So that's a big deal. And of course, this is a film about going to the moon. Like it's going to look amazing. Hopefully, I would assume it would. And the other one is the Alex Cox film Walker. Is getting a Blu-ray upgrade. And we talk about Alex Cox on here because I thought he was just doing special features for Kino now, but now it seems that he did special features for his own movie. I don't know, but he's obviously probably worked on the restoration for this. It does say restored high definition digital transfer approved by Alex Cox, so that's good. Always good to know that the director likes what's going on. But the new films that are being added to the collection are starting with Victoria De Sica's Miracle in Milan, and I watched this one. It is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think this is maybe my second favorite of his that I've seen. I put this above Umberto D.
Really?
Like I
Sacrilege?
Bicycle
Oh, wow.
Thieves is
Okay.
like it's just hard to beat Bicycle Thieves. I think Miracle in Milan is just so
What is
it's so good.
what is fascinating about this movie is that it's the one he did in between Bicycle Thieves and Umberto D.
Yep.
And it's so different than both of those movies.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more of an optimistic feel to it than
right.
Obviously the setting.
Those other films were very pessimistic.
Yeah. I mean, this film is about an orphan who gets snatched up as a baby by an old lady. Somehow the kid got in the garden. Who knows? So the old lady raises him to a certain point until she dies, and then he goes into an orphanage. And then when he's of age, he kind of goes out into the world and takes that optimism he just naturally has and goes to basically the ghetto of outside the city and turns what used to basically be a bunch of homeless people with garbage around them and turns it into a small town, and brings everybody together. And it's got some kind of fantastical elements to it also that are kind of hard to, I don't want to give all that stuff away, but
there's a more spiritual element to it.
Yeah.
Where what's so fascinating to me about it, watching it just in comparison to both, because when I think of Vittorio De Sica, I think Italian neorealism, which is very grounded. It's extremely grounded in reality, real places, real people, real issues, real things, and this film has special effects elements in it and things like that, and I'm like, wow, I didn't think Vittorio De Sica did these types of films, because I'm thinking of his war trilogy, like Germany Year Zero, Rome, Rome Open City, stuff like that, and I'm like, this is amazing. Miracle in Milan, if you want to watch it right now, it's streaming on the Criterion Channel, a streaming service, and it's well worth a watch. This is a high priority release.
Yeah, it is for me too.
Yeah, that's where I caught it. So I'm gonna have to see. I mean, it's really great. The thing about subscribing to the Criterion Channel, it does make it a little bit easier for me to pass on some of these movies.
It does.
I used to have to get everything, and I feel kind of bad. There are some times where I'm like, should I cancel my subscription just so I buy more stuff?
Just so I don't spoil
it's
myself.
It's really weird. Yes.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It becomes an asset for us as podcasters, though. It's good for our podcasting, so we don't have to feel like we need to go buy it, or we can, So that's always.
And they
good.
and they also have massive amounts of stuff that aren't part of the Criterion collection or going to get a Blu-ray release.
Oh no, definitely.
Or even have Blu-ray or DVD releases at all or whatnot. But Miracle in Milan is it's a high priority. I recommend that for anyone listening now or in the future.
Yeah. And so the next thing we'll talk about here is the Girl Can't Help It, which is a film from 1956. I didn't get a chance to check this one out. Either one of you checked this one out?
No, the cover's gorgeous. I love the way this thing looks. No, I had heard of this, but what does that mean? No, I haven't watched it.
I'm not very familiar with anybody in this movie, to be honest. I mean, unless I'm...
Well, I know... I did get to watch it. It does star Tom Ewell and Jane Mansfield and Edmund O'Brien. And I think Tom Ewell people will know most specifically for being in the 7-Year Itch, I believe.
Yep.
The Marilyn Monroe film. And Jane Mansfield, I think, has always been compared to Marilyn Monroe, obviously for aesthetic reasons.
I was going to say, if I didn't read into it from a distance, looking at the post, I thought that was Marilyn Monroe. I mean.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe was kind of the more, how do I say it? Kind of risque version of no, Jane Mansfield was the more risque version of Marilyn Monroe.
Really?
I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she was way more sexualized.
She was like, and a lower quality.
I get, without being
she
nice.
would put out lower quality
with
films,
being
is what
nice.
I'm saying. And I mean, actually, I hate to keep coming back to Kino. Kino put out a collection of Jane Mansfield noir.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's really pretty great.
Okay.
So
That's
all.
Yeah, they did do that. And Jane Mansfield, I think, unfortunately, where people attribute or remember her most for is her tragic death.
Right.
She had a very, very tragic death where she died horrifically in a car accident. and it's truly kind of a horrific Hollywood legend. If you remember the Steven, you remember the movie Crash, Cronenberg's movie Crash?
No, I don't.
Where they're-
What are you talking about? I've only bought it 3 times.
Yeah, I've only watched it like a million times.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's they one of the in that movie they're reenacting like famous car crash deaths.
Yeah.
And one of them is the Jane Mansfield one.
Yeah.
So that people probably, if they don't know Jane Mansfield, they probably maybe seen reference to her in other films. I think there's a part in Pulp Fiction where they're at that restaurant where they think a waitress is dressed up as Marilyn Monroe, but it's actually a waitress dressed up as Jane Mansfield.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
you're right. Yeah.
I forgot what the name.
And
Jack
her-
Rabbit
and
Slims
her-
was the
That's
name of
it,
the restaurant.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And her daughter is Mariska Hargitay of Law and Order SVU fame.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, and
I'm sure there's a lot of crossover between people that enjoy Law and Order SVU and Criterion
Of
fans.
course.
why not?
Honestly, there might
There
be.
might
so,
be.
so who knows?
There's, I think, there's quite a few Jane Mansfield films on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Some were put out by various studios, like some were from Warner Archive. I think Severin Films put out the Wild World of Jane Mansfield
Yes.
Blu-ray.
Yeah, which is a weird biopic thing, kind of.
Yeah, it is from 1968, which is, I believe, after her passing because she died in 1967.
Not a I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's more of a, I don't know, biography collection of home videos.
Yeah, like a
and I don't
documentary
know, all
type
sorts of
thing.
Yeah. How can I not think of the word documentary?
Yeah, I don't know. It just says
Man,
like
all right.
the way it's described is like she takes us on a I think it's like home movies. I think you're right.
Yep.
But anywho, that's Jane Mansfield, and I know a lot of people were buzzing about this release.
Okay.
The Girl Can't Help It. A lot of people were really happy with it, and the movie has an amazing soundtrack. If you've just seen the cover, they kind of touted Little Richard, Fats Domino, some really great music because the movie is takes place within the music industry. That's kind of the plot, where basically this guy played by Tom Yule is, I think, some type of music agent or something like that, and he's basically hired by this kind of shady character to take care of his girlfriend, I guess in quotes, who's Jane Mansfield, who he's kind of grooming to be a big singer star or whatever. And of course, there's the Tom Yule character and Jane Mansfield, they get involved with one another and all this kind of stuff. I really dug the movie. I really liked it a lot. It is getting a lot of new special features with this release, which I really like to see.
Yeah, that's always good.
Cool. Yeah.
And I if I didn't mention before, Miracle in Milan's getting a 4K restoration, so that's looking good there too. And we'll come back around to the ones that we didn't really talk about much. I guess. Well, let's go ahead and talk about them now. For All Mankind, have you either of you seen?
I've seen For All Mankind.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that is a documentary that takes. It was made 20 years after the moon landing. It's kind of just like a love letter to the entire Apollo missions, all the missions and whatnot. It takes real footage from NASA and incorporates it into this kind of documentary, kind of a tribute to the Apollo missions and the race to the moon and all the kind of stuff. Amazingly gorgeous footage that I saw, that were just kind of high definition Blu-ray version over a decade ago. Right. I'm assuming it's going to look even more amazing now.
I mean, here it's saying that it's getting an HDR presentation on film. That so they're definitely putting a lot into this, and they got multiple aspect ratios, and
because the footage is so varied, and some of the images are just incredible.
Yeah,
and it's a really harrowing type stuff, and I think this has been a staple for the Criterion Collection, I think.
I mean, we know this.
I've always seen this.
We know it looks incredible because it's a Kubrick film, so we know that.
Oh, clearly.
Oh, sorry, we don't believe into that conspiracy theory.
Okay, yeah. all it was shot by him, all of it.
But I mean, Doug, have you seen For All Mankind?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I have the blue. I've seen it, and like you said, it looks great. It's what I would say is, if for some reason people have not bought the blue, yes, please get the 4K.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how great this thing's going to look. myself, I mean, I'm not trying to be negative here, but I'm good with the blue. Like this isn't one. This isn't the red shoe. Like the red shoes. When I was like, oh my god, red shoes 4K, Mulholland Drive 4K. That's immediate day one purchases. I'm happy that I have the blue, definitely with this.
Yeah, it's sometimes when it comes to choosing, it's about a feeling. You're like,
oh no, definitely.
Like, you know what? I'm not excited enough to get that one. Like it's just Blu-ray's good enough. Criterion
could get me. You want to get me? Change the packaging. Make it different. I'll get it then. I'd be like, oh no.
Nice. I mean, you're not wrong in that assessment. It's like if if they were to give this a different type of packaging or different type of cover art, or hire someone who's done cover art for some of their more recent stuff that's great and different and whatnot. There's a bunch of people that we've talked to who do that. That's their thing. They do that for a living. Hire them, give them some work, because this cover art has been around 10, 20 years. You're just kind of recycling it. They're not putting any more special features into it.
And I'm not here to
bash
and you guys don't do this either to badmouth any studio, but when they released Mulholland Drive, I saw that French giant box that Studio Canal put. It's the same movie. It's the exact same movie. Yeah. But I bought that French one. I was like, I want this big dumb box that just contains posters and postcards and nonsense. Like, I want to put that on my shelf. I already have the Criterion.
Doesn't need one as big as it. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Steven showed me like half of it's just nothing in there.
It's just empty space. It's empty space. But I looked at the Criterion and I went, I don't know. I got that sitting right there.
Yeah.
I got it right there with the same cover and everything. I know the contents are different. There's another disc, but I'll get the big dumb box that I can put on my shelf.
Exactly.
Yes.
You got to take up more space on that shelf. Yeah.
Very true.
Right.
Yeah. Very true.
But and then the other one we went briskly over was Walker, which I know is not a Chuck Norris movie. I know this ain't Chuck Norris.
Oh no,
this is Alex Cox. So I know it.
Finally, we get more Alex Cox just released in general.
Yeah.
This is, I think, this
stars
is
Ed Harris, right?
Yeah, this is his second or third film he did. This is Walker, and based on a true story about this guy who in the 19th century decided to invade Nicaragua. It sounds a little ridiculous, but and he just he tried to invade Nicaragua and kind of took it over for a couple of years, and it really didn't end up going too smoothly for him. But the film is kind of like a fantasy, odd retelling of that story in a very Alex Coxian way. And, there's a lot of, not ambiguities, but like at some point people are drinking like Coke bottles of stuff. And it's like Coca-Cola wasn't around in 1850.
It's got kind of weird. A little bit of that Sofia Coppola kind of like where it's like recent times meets old times. Kind of
exactly. Like
Marie Antoinette.
I don't want to say stuff, but like more modern stuff ends up showing up randomly. And it's like, that is really,
why is
really
that
odd.
Arcade machine in the corner there?
Yeah, like why is someone have, why is someone using a telephone? What's going on? But this is his fourth film. And this came out the year after he did Sid and Nancy, which is also in the collection as well as Repo Man. And this is a film that a lot of people were also buzzing about as well. Because it is, like you said, Stephen, it's a re-release. It's been in the collection before.
Yeah, and I think it's around, it's like 400 and something, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the DVD's been long out of print, I assume. This is spy number 423. Yep. So we're talking half a history's worth of spy numbers ago, pretty much.
Early days.
And yeah, it's got, like we said, a couple of special features. And it is getting a restored high definition digital transfer. I would have loved if it had a better... maybe like a 2K transfer or something like that. I don't know how good the elements are or who really has the elements and whatnot, but I know a lot of people were buzzing about it, and I dig it. It's Ed Harris is really solid in it.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen it. It was one that I don't go on and buy, out of print DVDs or even Blu-rays. Like that's I can
It's expensive.
if I could buy 3 or 4 other discs for that price, I will. So this really was something that I was just kind of waiting on and thinking, well, somebody's going to put this out at some point. So I'm happy it's finally happening.
Awesome. So we got a couple more here. We got This Is My Desire, or Andrew, how you pronounce the...
I think that's Ayamafe.
Ayamafe?
Yeah, Ayamafe.
And this is a pretty recent one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this film's from 2020, I think?
Yes, 2020.
Yes, 2020.
And I did not get a chance to see this. I think you did, though, Andrew, didn't you?
I did indeed. And this is a film that is told in 2 parts. Well, not really 2 parts. It's kind of anthological, but there's 2 main characters, and you're kind of following them on their journey. This takes place in Lagos, Nigeria, and I believe it's a Nigerian film, but it is in English.
Okay.
It is in English, so there aren't subtitles, at least not the version I watched it in. And it's shot, I believe, in 16 millimeter. It's shot, I think, on location in Nigeria. It's very down to earth, very, seeing the day-to-day lives of these people. The first part of the film is following this guy Mafe, who's an electrical engineer, and he's trying to he's trying to move to someplace else. I think he wants to move to Italy or something like that to kind of better himself. Where he's living is kind of a dead end life of this is the best things are going to be for him, and he's trying to make his life better. But of course, things happen that prevent you from getting higher up in life, and he's got to go through those obstacles. And then you have the second half of the film is a character named Rosa, who is also trying to better her life and trying to move to Spain, I believe, or something like that. Or maybe I mixed up the 2, but either way, they're trying to better their lives, and once again, things in life get in the way, and you're just kind of watching them kind of struggle through life and try to figure things out. And it's done in a very plain, very matter-of-fact type way. And it's a really kind of down to earth, very neo-realistic type of approach to film. And I believe it is directed by a pair of brothers, and it's their first film.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Ari and Chuko Isiri are the brothers. And this is getting a new 2K digital transfer approved by them.
Okay. And cool. I know we've had maybe a few films from Africa.
Yes,
but I don't think anything is as recent as this, right?
No, I don't believe so. I'm trying to think of. I know they're going to release.
Was it Toki Pokey or what's it?
Oh yeah,
it's from one of the Martin Scorsese sets. Is getting its own single release.
And then they have the movie Black Girl as well.
Yes.
That's also from Criterion.
Yeah, but that's from what, the 60s?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes, it's an older film.
So,
they're releasing that Netflix film that I can't remember the name of from a couple of years ago.
Beast of No Nation? No.
No, not Beast of No Nation.
I know that,
although that is actually one that just got released.
That's not an African film, though, but it's set in Africa.
It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other African films. But this sounds interesting. Yeah, it's like I said, it's nice to see something new.
Yeah, I was thinking when they release things that are modern or somewhat modern, it's always pretty refreshing because you really get very accustomed to saying, oh, well, I'm going to dig through film history and Criterion's going to help me. So there is something really nice about saying, this is new, this is where things are going, and guess what? You've probably never seen this before.
Yeah, there's a whole list of films that Criterion, even on Criterion channel, there's a whole group of films specifically titled Black Lives, where it's all of those types of films. And you've got Tuki Buki was the one you were talking about,
I was
Steven.
close.
White Material, the
White Material, yes.
Sure.
Is that the Claire Denis film?
Yep.
That's set in Africa. Of course, Battle of Algiers, which came out in the 60s.
That's great.
That's another one. And there's a whole host of films that are, around that. I wish I knew what that recent one was. If I could go back and look in my letterbox, it's probably in there from a few years ago. But
I'll just edit you in saying the title.
Yeah,
like,
just edit me in. Yeah,
blah blah,
probably do.
and then like just.
It's called
bounce back
Aqua something. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I think you're making that up.
I'm probably making it up.
Aquafina? No, that's an actress.
No. Right.
That's a drink also. I don't know. Hurry
Yeah,
up.
I'd have to do some serious stuff looking it up.
I'm trying to buy time for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's good. I'll have to look at my
Okay,
list,
okay,
Steven.
all right.
So just move on to the next
Yeah,
one, which
okay,
is
so, but
around midnight.
you're saying this
I
is
think
pretty
the next
good,
one.
worth a buy.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. I would say
worth a watch.
Definitely worth a watch, but don't go into it expecting anything grand with it. It's very just day-to-day life type stuff.
Gotcha. And
Life just kind of continues on. There's no like, it's not there's no 3-act structures or stuff like that.
It sounded like.
It's structured very much like Chungking Express. Actually,
I was gonna say that, or like like the recent film I watched that back to Vinegar Syndrome Partner Labels. It kind of sounds like Rebels of a Neon God film.
Okay.
That day to day life kind of like just subdued movie. Not a lot of things happen. It's just literally shots of people just sitting there in a bed. Just nothing happening. But okay, all right. And the last one we got here is. Round Midnight, and this one is I think a musical, right? Or like a concerty type of. I mean, is it theatrical? Is it like a straight up like? Is it?
No, it's a drama.
Is it a drama? Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I didn't
drama.
get a chance to look into this one, but it seems to be centered around jazz.
It is very jazzy.
Very jazzy.
You have to love jazz to really get into this movie. It's starring a famous jazz musician in I forgot what his name is, but he was actually nominated. Bertram Tavernier was the. Dexter Gordon is the famous jazz musician. He was a trumpeter, and he's kind of like a legend. Kind of from the 50s, 60s era. I believe the movie's set back then as well. In the 1950s in Paris, and he plays a character called Dale Turner, and he's kind of playing like a kind of a fictionalized version of himself, but more fictionalized version, I think, of someone else's story. And basically, he's got like alcoholic problems and perhaps drug problems and stuff like that. And he ends up befriending someone who's just a big fan of his. A local person who's just a big fan of him, who basically tries to help him, get out of that rut of alcoholism and drug dependency.
This sounds like a somewhat like shifted version of that movie, The Soloist.
Oh,
with Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr.
together.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It sounds like a weird version of that. I mean, in that movie, Jamie Foxx plays some type of musician that's like a homeless man, and then he like helps him. Robert Downey Jr. helps him like get out of his funk, to be able to do his thing. And it sounds very similar. I don't know what's going on there. They better not have ripped it off. Because we're gonna have to include The Soloist on this Blu-ray. Then, The Soloist is also on the Blu-ray Around Midnight. But yeah, it sounds like you saw this one. So I
did see it.
Oh, you did.
I did see it.
Okay.
I did.
Oh, you did see it.
I did. It's very good, but yet again, it's very understated. It's a little long, but it's kind of a beautiful movie that's also kind of part love letter to jazz music, because there's a lot of jazz music,
Right.
a lot of scenes of him, a lot of performances of jazz music in it, and it's a very kind of slow moving film that's kind of melancholy, if you will. It's really, really good.
Okay.
But I would recommend it to people to at least watch it. And I know it's a film that a lot of people were also buzzing about, just because it's
Criterion. Everybody buzzes about Criterion.
But this month is so unique in the sense we're getting movies other than Walker and For All Mankind. We're getting movies
Right.
that haven't been in the collection before, I think, and movies that people haven't been predicting. Because every month you always see the polls in
Yeah.
the forums like, which movies are going to get released, and it's always the same ones, and they never end up getting released.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times we have to clamor for After Hours from Martin Scorsese before they release it. Come on already. Like, what are we doing? And that's like Martin Scorsese's only film that doesn't have a Blu-ray release at this point.
Hey, look, we finally got Mirrors. We finally got Mirrors.
Yeah.
That took a long time. People can dream.
I know there's a couple of Scorsese films that haven't gotten Blu-ray releases yet, but still, I think After Hours is the one people are clamoring for the most.
Oh no, definitely.
Kino's just gonna put that shit out and just gonna piss everybody off.
Yep.
But anything else to add, Doug? Did you? You're a big jazz fan? I can tell.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Maybe this will do it for me. Who knows?
Steven, I found the movie.
Okay, hurry up. Doug was about to
You
say
ready
something
for
about how
editing?
you love jazz. Go ahead.
I know. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just did my Google quick search. The movie Atlantics.
Okay.
I think is an African film.
Okay. So you don't really know.
Yes.
You don't really know.
Oh yeah, because it's set in Dakar.
Then it's just a waste of time if you didn't really know.
No, it's
Right.
Atlantics.
So we don't know if it's Atlantics or Aqua or Aquafina.
You know what's crazy? I knew it started with an A.
Atlantic City.
I knew it started with an A.
Yeah.
And it did come out in 2019, so it was
You got
recent.
it.
And
Yeah.
it was a Netflix film.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they announced that a while ago. It is, yeah. It's set in Dakar, so it is.
There you go.
I was right.
There you go. Good job,
There you
man.
go.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
It took a while, but
Man,
it's okay.
You don't know the rush.
Yeah, the rush when you finally got it. But Doug, tell
It's
me
like a
about
Safdie
your love of
Brothers.
jazz.
I just replayed a Safdie Brothers
Yeah,
movie in my
I
head.
don't-
It's like, damn, like Uncut Gems type level of nervousness here.
But go ahead, Doug.
No, I have no love
Okay,
of
all right,
jazz.
that's fine. Whatever.
That's the end of the
Oh,
story.
jeez.
I even sat here and I was like, I guess I could make something up, but what's the
Well,
point? No, I'll check it out. No, I'll check the movie out definitely. But like I said, maybe it's what I need to get into.
I mean,
jazz.
what are you talking about? Did
talk to
not
me a
La La
year
Land
from
not
now.
do it for you?
It did not do it for
Jeez.
me. What La La Land did for me was go, what is everybody?
Why is
What's
this?
the big
Why did
deal?
this
I
almost
don't-
win Best Picture?
Why are people talking about this movie?
I dug it.
I like
dug
La
it.
La Land fine. It just wasn't.
It was
It was
just fine.
I
It was
mean, it's got some good
fine.
stuff in it.
Yes.
I just definitely glad it didn't win Best Picture. I think the movie that won.
Well, it almost did.
It almost did. I'm just
for-
glad that
for a
the
brief
right
second in
movie
time.
won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Moonlight. If we're comparing Moonlight, is a better film.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
we're-
compare those two.
Being honest.
Right. Yes.
I do like how, I mean, I don't want to get on La La Land. I do like how, we're talking about Criterion. La La Land is kind of an homage to, Umbrellas of Cherbourg,
Yeah.
the Jacques Demy
Sure.
film.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else to add, guys, that is it for this episode. We did it. Doug, how
What?
did it?
Just over 2
Doug,
hours?
how do you feel?
Wow. I feel good. I made it.
You don't feel we didn't
I feel
we didn't deter
informed.
you from listening anymore or anything?
I'm not going to listen to
Okay,
this.
well that's fine.
I mean, yeah, I do not listen
Could
to
you at
episodes
least
that I'm
download it and then read it and then
It's embarrassing. Oh no! Listen. I'm subscribed. You're getting
Yes,
my download
yes.
anyway. Don't worry
Thank
about
you,
that.
thank you.
Yeah. Do you want me to delete the download it again?
as many times as
and
you feel
again
like
and
you
again?
need to. Okay,
Okay. All right. I will do that. You'll be like, I can't believe how popular our episode.
Jeez,
with
we got to
Doug
bring him
is."
back quickly.
Right. That's right.
He's the man.
No, I am so happy you guys had me. Like I said, I asked to come on, and I don't regret it.
Great, man. Look, we don't regret having you because this was a good time, man. And
Excellent.
yeah. Please, everybody, go listen to Good Times, Great Movies. Doug and his co-host Jamie have a great time. They really go back over a lot of just good and bad 80s films, and they just you can tell they're having a good time. And that's to me what can make a really good podcast is when you can feel the authenticity of the enjoyment of what they're doing. And that's what I think you guys do the best on there is just show off your love for movies in good and bad. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, if we weren't having fun, we wouldn't do it. It really is enjoyable, and we do run the gamut. We are going from Vampire's Kiss to Big Business, with Bette Midler and Lily
Nice.
Tomlin. So who knows?
Who knows where this is going to
what
go?
this mess is going to be? Yes, right. Yeah, but thank you so much for having me on. I had a blast. This is great, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. I know a lot of people. All of our intros to this may have been Brian Sauer. With just the discs. I really do miss Off the Shelf.
Oh, yeah,
which was his show before that with I can't think of his name. Ryan
Gallagher,
right? No, yeah, Ryan Gallagher, which was really great, and that's why. And again, I love what Brian's doing, but I really like you guys because you can talk to each other about it. And that's the one thing that it's so tough to, I tried a couple times to podcast by myself. So Brian Sauer, kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
But there is something nice about listening to you guys talk through this stuff together that I really enjoy.
We appreciate it, man.
Oh, of course. We appreciate any and all support at all.
Yes, at all. We, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm with you, man. I like Brian's stuff too, and of course, there's a lot of other. You can only listen to so many. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to Criterion now. I listen to a few other ones, and it's just tough to keep up with everybody. But I think the one thing that we just love doing is just we know that as collectors, it's tough to figure out what to buy. And if we can help just a little bit, like steer you in a direction that we think is interesting, because some people just give up on things because they don't know nothing about it. And if we can like maybe shed some light on something that you might not have thought to look at, then that's what hopefully we're doing that, Andrew. Hopefully we're making people aware of something,
That's what it's always been about. I think information and information sharing and
hopefully entertainment
having
a little
reference
bit,
point. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you got to be.
And I always appreciate honesty too. Like I really do appreciate when I hear you guys say things like this movie's worth a watch. That's not, you're not saying run out and buy this immediately. Like I appreciate that. You're not just sitting there going, and then this is coming out. Hey, isn't all this
just
amazing? Let's buy all of it.
Just do it all.
So,
I mean,
no, but I really appreciate you guys being honest and watching this stuff beforehand too.
Andrew.
I mean, it's one thing to just read through a bunch of special features, but you're putting in the work here.
It's why you see Andrew and he like has to put eye drops in it. Nobody else can see this, but we see it. He has to put eye drops in because he's watching movies while we're doing the podcast. He's doing too many things at once.
It's constantly running. My eyes are dry. My eyes are drying out from watching all these movies. But I've got the time. Might as well watch the movies. I mean, it's nice to have some type of reference point in terms of informing people about whether. You can buy something based off of how good the edition of is in of itself, but I think at the heart of it is the movie worth owning? Is it worth rewatching or watching multiple times? Are you going to like it? Is the person you're listening to like it? I mean, that's kind of important, I would guess.
And of course, our opinions are our opinions, and you take them for what you want to, but, some people, believe in people enough to take their opinion, and if we can save you a few bucks, maybe we do. I mean, but everybody should try something on their own. And if
that's awesome.
A lot of times, Andrew will try to tell you where you can find it to watch, so that you can make up your own mind. Like I said, appreciate you supporting, man, and
excellent.
Please, everybody, please go support Doug's podcast, Good Times, Great Movies. Where are the best places to communicate with you?
Oh, I mean, honestly, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are either under Good Times, Great Movies or sometimes GTGM Cast. But honestly, if you type Good Times, Great Movies into any search engine, we're the only game in town. It's the only thing that's going to come up. So find us there, interact, listen to the show. I always love feedback just like you guys do.
You guys got a Patreon too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah. You can get bonus episodes. You can get uncut episodes. That is one thing I will say. We record for a very long time before we start the show. Our Vampire's Kiss show that went out to the public is an hour. I think it's like an hour 10. The patrons got almost 2 hours.
Yes.
So maybe it's worth it just for that. If you love the sound of my voice, go right ahead.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Please, everybody, if you have $1, I mean, I don't know if we'll do that one day. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough energy to come up with ideas for people to want to give me money. I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult. I don't know. I feel so bad. No.
Hey, listen, you cut the show halfway through. You're like, oh, you want to hear the second hour of this?
I know we stopped at Kino after 1 hour, but here's the rest of it. Yeah.
Right, there you go. Right.
You want to hear
every
that
episode
Criterion?
is every episode will be like, well, we only got through Kino. For the rest, you're gonna have to tune in.
We'll come up with something maybe one day. I don't know, but that's great, man.
Yeah. No, thank you again. I appreciate it. This has been a ton of fun, guys, and continued success moving forward.
Thank you.
Anytime you are hard up for a guest or whatever, I'll sit back and listen to you guys talk. It's awesome.
Cool. We're doing it. We're gonna do it again. Definitely. Andrew, where can they talk to you about movies while you're watching movies?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at Capzilla06, as well as my YouTube channel, or the YouTube channel for Chasing Labels, typically titled Chasing Labels, and where we're getting more of a kind of visual, part of the show, and kind of showing off all of these releases that we talk about so much, and other acquisitions that Steven and I get over time.
Yeah.
So those are the two best places.
Yeah. We haven't been able to add to it too much yet, but I know Andrew said he was working on some stuff, and he'll have some videos out, I think, soon. And
I will indeed.
And we got some ideas. I got some ideas. I think Doug, I might talk to you about getting involved in one of these ideas because of the fact that you seem to like Nicolas Cage. Because one of them involves Nicolas Cage. So
I will talk about any Nicolas Cage anytime.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
You want me to watch the worst possible Wicker Man movie they could have made?
Yeah,
I'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'll talk to you off mic about off recording about it. But
cool.
Yeah, so I might get you involved in that. But yeah, we got some ideas that I want to implement into doing more regular YouTube content. But we just got to get our ducks in a row because it's a lot of work, and I got a baby on the way, and Andrew's he's watching 10 movies a day.
I have movies to watch.
Yeah. So
There's movies to watch.
So, but you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can also find me trying to work on social media the best I can at our Twitter, at Chasing Labels, or Instagram, or you can follow me on Letterboxd if I'm keeping up with it at Chasing Labels. You can also find the audio for the podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, all the major players. Thanks again for listening, and hey, keep on watching them movies.
I know I will.